ICI family. I love that energy. Otherwise, I would going to say one more time, good morning. So a very warm welcome to all of you, all the respected members, our chief guest, CA Dayanivaji Sharma, the Central Council member, and along with him, Durgesh ji, and Anand Bhai, and all other eminent speakers, along with our former chairs of the chapter, and of course, our ICAI Dubai chapter members. A welcome to today's Technology Summit 2026 on the theme, Embrace Technology and Remain Relevant. It is truly very pleasing for me and heartening to see such an encouraging turnout this morning. I know this on the Saturday coming on the event, it's very difficult, and that is also 9 a.m. in the morning. But your presence itself reflects one important message. And what is that message? That as a professional, we learn, we unlearn, and we are ready to adapt in this fast changing world. Today's theme is extremely relevant for all of us. Technology is no longer something that belongs to the future. It is very much part of our present. And while change is inevitable, our theme of today's event rightly says that adoption is a personal choice. Today's summit has been carefully curated to help us understand how the AI, analytics, automation, documentation, e-invoicing, and the technology-driven assurance are reshaping the profession of our chartered accountants. Over the next few hours, we will hear from the distinguished speakers who are the practitioners, thinkers, leaders, and the implementers, not just talking about the technology, but showing us how to use it meaningfully and responsibly. Today's program is also aligned beautifully with our ICAI Dubai chapter's theme of the year of growth for the year 25-26, where growth is not just about scale, but about relevance, capability, and the mindset. And at this point of time, it gives me a great pleasure to invite on the stage our chairman, CA Jay Prakash Agrawal. Member, itne se kaam nahi chalega. I just want to make you more louder. So members, we can see that the ICAI Dubai chapter has consistently focused on the high quality professional programs, members engagement, and future oriented initiatives. I think you must all be agree with me. And thanks to our chairman, CA Jay Prakash Agrawal, for his guidance and the vision which is continue to inspire as entire managing committee and the members alike. So please welcome with a thunderous round of applause our chairman, CA Jay Prakash Agrawal.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. मेरे को बोलते ना सुबह बन गई. I think you made my day. Thank you, Amit bhai. Good morning, members. हाँ, अब लग रहा है ICI दुबई में बात कर रहे हैं. I'll keep it short today. And I always say when brothers are coming from another country and addressing it, and that too he is a Central Council member. And my elder brother, obviously, I will give more time to him to speak about what exactly ICI is doing in terms of technology framework. And I'll keep my address short. Normally, I give you a PPT and take 15 minutes of yours. Today, I'll keep it short. Why? Because जब भाई आए हैं तो भाई बात करेंगे. Okay, what I'm supposed to tell you is why technology. One thing which is constant, my dear friends, in the world is change. And we are seeing it. Only problem for me is the change which was taking 20 years earlier is now taking 2 years to change. Email came in 90s, right? And today we are talking about chat GPT in 25. In next 2 years, data science and AI is sitting on top of it. Every 2 years, technology is changing, my dear friends. And as a chartered accountant, you have to be relevant on it. If you miss on that bus, on that train, we will be losing something. We are good with taxes. We are good with the auditing standards. One thing, as a chartered accountant, we should start adopting is technology. And that is why today the entire event, entire theme is on technology. We are talking about what? We are talking about analytics. Jay, analytics we do in Excel. Sir, move on from Excel. There are other tools available. Are we experimenting with that? Are we trying those tools? That is something which we'll learn from our speaker, CA Anand, that how to look at those analytical tools. Jay, we are using AI. We will see Durgesh Saab coming in. We'll talk about AI. We are using ChatGPT. What's new about it? Sir, there's a way of using ChatGPT. There's a way to put a prompt there to understand how to get a relevant answer from a ChatGPT or any AI tool. ChatGPT, my dear friend, is only one tool. There are multiple tools available, from video making to dialogue writing to animations to songwriting to everything to do research. Everything is a perplexity is there to do research work. Are we aware about it? No. We should know about it. We should know how to write a prompt to get a proper answer. It's not our wife that we write anything और कुछ ना कुछ तो जवाब आ ही जाएगा. नहीं. We should know how to write about it. कैसे लिखना है, कैसे जानना है. That we'll understand from AI. Document management system. 10 years we have to maintain the records. We are filling our warehouses with all the records. Are we required to do that? No. There is DMS available. There is OCR available. Are we using it? No. Today we'll understand that yes, we can optimize on it. The person who will take the stage, trust me, I have spoken to all these speakers, what exactly we are trying to cover. I told them to cover practical scenarios. He will tell you about major MNCs in UAE who adapted his tool and saved a lot of warehouse cost by using technology. You save on cost, you save on time, you also upgrade yourself when you are doing all these skills. That is why, my dear friends, please start adapting technology. After today's session, because we are covering multiple things, we are covering 5 different topics today, okay? And one thing is very important, which Daya sir will cover, Daya I will cover. I'll tell you briefly about it, and obviously he will discuss more on it, is on framework. Sir, we are discussing technology everywhere. We are discussing about AI, we are discussing about Power BI, we are discussing about DMS, we are discussing about OCR, even robotic process automation. Manju will be covering robotic process automation. He will tell you how you can, instead of doing manually all the efforts, can automate it. And instead of you enjoying a coffee and by that time your work is done. That is possible. How? He will show you a demonstration. He will show you how exactly it is achieved. But important is, one thing which I am seeing as a change which is coming from ICI India. And trust me, last week, only 2 days back, I was in a call with ICI India. Presen sir was there, our DAB chairman, and my big brother, Dayanivasi Sharma was there. And he talked about something good. Jay, technology is one thing. Are we ready to audit that technology? Do we have the framework? When you talk about IFRS, what is IFRS? IFRS is a framework based on which audit is done. It is not rule-based. It is a framework. This is how you should audit it. This is how you should look at your accounts and take an opinion that yes, these accounts are reliable. Are we doing the same thing for our information system audit? Sir, system is a black box for many of us. But are we trying to look into it, deep into it, and say, no, this is right, or no, this is corrupted, we cannot use it? That is something our ICI India is working on. They have come up with, trust me, and you will see an email coming from chapter to you as well. They have already drafted information system audit standards, ISA standards, that this is how the system should be audited. This is the framework for it. When you are taking a job for information system audit, whether it's a governance job, whether it is a risk mitigation job, whether it's a compliance, what exactly you are looking into it, how to look at the documentations, how to look through the system, all these as a framework they are doing it. One more good thing. Normally, we have adapted from across everything. This time, ICI India, and I need a clap after you hear it. If you think, yes, they are doing a good thing, first understand whether it's a good thing or not. We are developing our accounting standards on information system and now going globally to all the geographies of the world, from Europe to America, say, this is the framework. Do you want to adapt it? This can be a IFRS for system audits. That is what they are working on. They deserve a clap for that, because agar hum nahi promote karenge, no one will promote them. Give a round of applause for ICI India to develop that audit framework for the world. Aapka support kahan lagega? And with that I will end. Your support is, they have already drafted exposure draft. They have already done it. That is already ready. And that has come to the chapter. Tomorrow we will circulate to all the members. My request to you, go back to your student days. You used to study the law. You used to study the audit, right? Take that copy, print it out. Please go through it. Your questions can be stupid. Your questions can be illogical for you. But trust me, every illogical and stupid questions have given something to the world. Please ask those questions, send those questions to the committee saying, not our committee, to ICI committee, there's a form. Say, on these standards, are we covering this? Should we cover this? Trust me, they will respond back. Because if we have to create a global accounting standards, which Globe is ready to accept from ICI India, we together have to do it. So please go through that exposure draft and share your ideas. Will we do it together? Yes. Perfect. Thank you very much. With this, I end it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Jay Bhai, for that energetic address. And I really love that line that Bhai aaye hain, Bhai bolenge. But for me, like after Jay Bhai, Daya Bhai, and in between Rishi Bhai. So your address was beautifully set the tone for the today's summit, as you rightly reminding us that that leadership, vision, and the adaptability are essential as we navigate the evolving technology landscape. So on behalf of our members, thank you so much for your guidance and vision you are leading with. Thank you so much, Jay Bhai. Can we have a huge round of applause for our chairman, CA Jay Prakash Agarwal? Thank you. Members, as we move ahead, it's now time for a very important segment of today's program. Our chief guest for this technology summit is a respected professional, a thought leader, and someone who has been the forefront of the technology-driven transformation within the profession of chartered accountancy. I know the formal introduction will be done by our vice chairman. So to formally introduce our chief guest, is give me a great pleasure to call upon a leader who is actively contributing through his leadership, strategic thinking, and the constant focus on the member-centric initiatives. Yes, he is none other than our Vice Chairman, C.A. Rishi Chawla. Please welcome him on the stage to formally introduce our chief guest of today's event, Daya Niwas ji.
Thank you so much, Secretary Saab. And after the powerful introduction from जय भाई, आई थिंक ऑलरेडी सबको उठा देते हैं एक साथ में, तो बड़ा अच्छा होता है व्हेन द वाइस चेयरमैन कम्स आफ्टर चेयरमैन, ऑलरेडी द क्राउड इज एनर्जाइज्ड. सो दैट्स ऑलवेज अ प्लेजर टू हियर जय भाई बिफोर आई ऑलवेज कम टू द पोडियम. सो थैंक यू जय भाई फॉर ऑल योर एनर्जी. And just to add to what Jai Bhai was saying about the Accounting Assurance Board, something very powerful President Sir also said, that for IFRS, like when India adopts IFRS, you have to pay royalty to the IFRS. But when our assurance standards get adopted by the world, so we get the royalty out of that. So that is a huge, I think, change. I think that deserves a big round of applause, that India is taking such huge step, and our chapter, our ICI mother body is really moving from the front. So with that, first of all, good morning, dear members, our chief guest of the day, CA Daya Niwas ji, our speakers of the day, and my colleagues in the executive committee. Let me begin with telling you a small story which is very practical. I'm sure you all remember Kodak films long time back. That was a time every picture has to have that roll. That's how the Kodak worked. So Kodak was the king of photography. They didn't just sell film, they defined how the memories are captured. And they even invented the first digital camera back in 1970s. But when digital photography began rising, Kodak hesitated. They believed that whatever they're doing are the best, and they don't need to change. While Kodak stood still, its competitor, Fujifilm, at the same time, did something bold. They realized that things are changing. The roll thing is not going to happen. They immediately started changing into the digital world. They pivoted into digital and also reinvented themselves completely. Today, they make everything from medical devices to cosmetics to digital imaging. All those things are being done by Fujifilm. However, on the other side, Kodak has filed for bankruptcy in 2012. Two giants, same disruption, different response. And that, friends, is what this session is all about. As Jack Welch, the ex-CEO of GE said, change before you have to. So before starting this wonderful session, it's always a privilege to be joined by someone who has been at the forefront of AI in ICI initiative, who is none other than our Central Council member, CA Daya Niwas Sharma ji. Can we have a big round of applause for Daya Bhai, who has joined all the way from India with us to teach us. He has always come, even in the previous years, he has been initiating courses for us without cost and bringing us free of cost courses from India. That is, I think, a huge advantage for our members. So thank you, Daya Bhai, always been at the forefront. He is currently the Central Council member of ICI, chairman of the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, and founding vice chairman of AI in ICI initiative. He has led the world's first forensic and investigation standards and pioneered India's first AI certification for chartered accountants. He trained, I think, yes. Sir, baja do apne Daya Bhai, is always, I can see, you know, AI जो जैसे होता है ना कि AI is in his blood. So, and he had trained over 35,000 chartered accountants. That's a big number, huh? 35,000 chartered accountants. Great thing. He's widely respected speaker and trainer, frequently engaged by government bodies, regulators, and enforcement agencies, including NIA, CAG, SEBI, RBI, CID, and public and private sector banks for high-impact capacity building and specialized training programs. So before I invite him to the podium, let me share my personal one story, which I really always have a huge respect for thereby. I went to India. I was on a normal trip. I went to ICI office. I met President Sir. I met many senior chartered accountants in the office. And thereby I knew that I am here. He was doing a big conference in Hyderabad. So President Sir called there by chance and said, Rishi is here. He immediately invited me. And not only invited me, I went to all the way Hyderabad. He even called me on the podium to talk about GCC. I think that was very personal and always remember you Devai in my heart till I live. Thank you so much. So with that, I request Devai to please join on the stage. Give him a big round of applause as he walks onto the stage.
Good morning to all. Undoubtedly a pleasure to be here, to come as a chief guest. This is the place where I started. You will be surprised to know 10 years back, when I came to Dubai to set up my office, there was only one person to hold my hand. And I always treat him as my elder brother. And may God keep him always safe and healthy. There is no other person than Abbas Bhai. But this man made a lot of difference to my life, and particularly in Dubai. When I was totally new, he ensured that, I get interacted with all these people, and when and how, I don't know. Entire Dubai chapter became a family for me. And the love and respect which continues as a brother, thank you Jai Bhai to call me Daya Bhai. It's indeed warmth that you are expressing. Not only you, the entire team is expressing to me to give that love always. Whenever I need it, Dubai has stood for me. And this is my 10th year. Most of the people don't know that I operate in Dubai from last 10 years without disturbing any of my professional colleagues in a very independent manner. You might have never heard me, but I do a lot of billing here. So don't worry, I'm not a competition at all. Furthermore, Jai Bhai, I think with you and your team and in past, present, and also in the future where I see in Rishi, the next chairman coming in, it's going to be a different warmth and the power which this center is going to take place. When my father asked me or my wife asked me, I always say Dubai is the world capital. And I'm not going to leave Dubai at any given point in time to work, because it has treated me very well. And you all guys are actually doing something fantabulous, because one after another the chairmen who are coming, they are doing a great job. And in this 30 plus years of Dubai chapter coming into existence, I think you have done the first career fair in Dubai, which is the most unique thing, which I think in anywhere in the world, no chapter has done it. So I compliment you for that. And also the Udan conference which you have done, I was fortunate to be here. I could attend very quietly, and we could see the entire ecosystem which was operating, your entire team was working. Compliments, I think the chairman's success is if every committee members stand with you and not make you work. I think that's the biggest thing which you have done it. Conferences like OECD, Pillar 2 and AML are the need of day, and you have ensured that the members are getting enriched in this entire process. One thing which I would like to share with you, the topic here, Vijay, the conference name is Embrace Technology and Remain Relevant. I think let me come there and start talking about the conference, because I'll always continue to praise. I cannot stop. Might be I'll have a limitation for time also. But a round of applause for the soldiers who are standing in front and taking the bullets across. To all the managing committee members, I think we all have to give that credit for doing it right. So coming back to this remain relevant, let me just tell you one quick story about the Institute. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has formed. How many of you are comfortable with technology here? A good number is also no. But do you all know that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has set up the first technology committee, which is called Digital Accounting and Assurance Board. Earlier it was called Committee for Information Technology. Now it is DAM. This is my committee's 25th year. Just imagine 25 years back, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India thought that technology is going to take a front seat, and that is how the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has actually come out with this Information System Audit DISA course. And do you know how many chartered accountants are qualified in India with DISA? It's 36,000 chartered accountants. 36,000 chartered accountants. Can you just imagine? 25 years back, an organization thinks about its members, and the futuristic approach which the council has adopted over a period of time is only to ensure that word remain relevant, stand relevant for all of us. I don't know how many of you have actually completed your course on system audit as such. How many of you have done DISA here by chance? Very few. I think the message is very clear. I don't have to talk much. Right? There is one nice quote which I'll share with you all. If you knew me yesterday, you don't know me anymore because I change every day. I hope you got it. That is the member of ICAI. And if you are not going to remain relevant over a period of time, I think there is something which is going to go wrong. People have thought over a period of time, technology is not my core area. But just tell you one thing, engineers are entering into technology, but they didn't understand one fact, that if a chartered accountant gets into anything, those people will become irrelevant. And that is what ICAI is going to do over a period of time. Can you just imagine, 365 days back, we created a course called AI. And how many people are trained at this point in time, do you know? It's 40,000 plus people across the globe are trained on AI. And the age group is from 21 to 84. 21 to 84. People who are thinking that technology is not their cup of tea and age is a constraint, I think you are completely wrong. Your experience is not going in the right direction. AI can give you the quality prompt if you know the subject well, and the subject well is only known to those people who have got experience. And the experienced people are establishing this entire institute from last 78 years. Let us all give a round of applause to all those chartered accountants who have been giving that goodwill to us, that we stand strong in the ecosystem. Wherever, not only in India, but wherever in the world, we stood very strong. And the message is very simple. When we talk about 40,000 people completing their AI course, just imagine. Just imagine. I'm going to share two personal experiences of mine without hesitation here, because it is very important that you all people have to understand what example I'm giving and why it is relevant. Today, before giving the example, let me just take you through this important thing. I don't know how many of you are aware of DAB. Any person sitting here, Digital Accounting and Assurance Board? Only one, two. Oh, I'm disappointed actually on the communication that has not been made to you all people. Let me now start talking about DAB. because that's going to be the center table discussion all throughout from here in your entire learning outcomes. And not only learning, but also for deliveries which you need to make to your client. So let me just start with one fact. Information System Audits, ISA, which is called diploma. Now this diploma course is going under the round of change, which is 4.0, DISA 4.0, and DISA Plus is something which we have got approved from the council, and shortly we are going to launch for the entire world this particular course, which is going to have all the transitions which has happened over a period of time. This 36,000 chartered accountants who have completed their DISA course have to go through DISA Plus, which is going to be a bridge between then and now and going forward. And number two is DISA 4.0, which is going to be the most relevant course in information system audits in time to come, because we are not going to talk only about theory, where other courses internationally have one unfortunate thing, which you need to read books, attend some class, and go and write examination, and you become a certified system auditor. No, ICI has never done it in past, now, or in the future. What we are adding in DISA 4.0 is we are creating a sandbox approach so that you people, when you are coming for training, you are actually going to switch on the system, start operating, and by the end of this training session, you yourself will be Monday ready. That means once the course is completed, you can actually go into your offices or your client's place and you can start doing systems audit going forward. Now that was one point which was limitation. How do we do it? Because there is no benchmarking which is allowed. So a couple of colleagues like Durgesh, Anand, and Vittal Raj, there are many such people, Uday, who have come forward together to say that, like, why don't we think about consolidating all the standards or all the notification, all the announcements across the globe, what should be done in information system audit framework? Can you just imagine about it? And I am proud to say, these all people have done this work pro bono without charging a single rupee from the institute. Let us give a round of applause for all these people. This information system audit standards which are going to come up are the benchmark standards with the world's best practices and India's best practices. Because the volume of transaction which is hitting Indian systems, Indian regulatory boards, in, all the portals of the country, I don't think anyone is matchable close to us also. So we took all those notifications which are issued by the government of India, we took the best standards or documents which have been created by other institutes in the world. We also took the best practices which are expected out of other country regulatory frameworks and consolidated this information system audit standards to give a benchmark to a level where how to start an audit and end an audit and also document the entire process is a first of its kind framework which is going to come, and we are going to present to the world this thought leadership document. Just imagine where are we heading towards. Don't you feel that we should be a proud chartered accountant in the process? So let's give a round of applause for our institute boss. Jevai, relevance. I'll tell you one thing. We were relevant yesterday, we are relevant today, and we'll be relevant tomorrow. And take it from me, till the time on this planet Earth, money and money's worth is there, a chartered accountant will be relevant. And if money or money's worth go off from this earth, still a chartered accountant will know how to survive and get survival for others also. The topic is very touchy. If you see some of my videos, you will actually get this quote every time. So now what has happened with this? Now we are coming out, rather than making any standard India-centric, we are making standards global-centric, so that anywhere in the world, it can be adopted. How much time do I have? Because Ashna is smiling. I have. Because I'll take little time if you permit me. Do I? चले, बिकॉज थोड़ा कभी कभी इंस्टीट्यूट के बारे में बात करने में मजा आता, भाषण तो तुम सुनते ही रहते यार, बहुत सारे आते हैं लीडर, हम थोड़े अलग लीडर हैं इसलिए. Is it okay if I share with you all these important parts? Yeah. So this information system audit standards which are coming up is gone for the public exposure, and this will be globally adopted ones. Now how do we go for a global adoption was a question which was there in deliberation. So we thought about why not we think about a concept called implementation guide. So what has happened is the standards have become global centric. Now the implementation guides are going to be country centric. And this is going to be developed by no other person than our own chartered accountants who are sitting in their respective countries. This is not stopping here. Forensic certification. We have big institutes across the globe. Our institute also has come out with a forensic certification course. But now the council of the institute has approved. We are waiting for MCA approval where it is going to be called as a diploma in forensic and investigation. Now what is the difference? What is the difference? The certification cannot be used after your name. Like before your name you are putting CA and after your name you put the other degrees. Now with the diploma in forensic and investigation, you can actually put that designation next to your name also. So DFI, which is a certification course, what is the difference between a certification course and a diploma course? Certification course is conducted by the committee, but diploma course is conducted by the examination committee of ICAI, which creates whole lot of relevance in the process. So now that is actually moved to, right, diploma. Now what did we do in this? In this also what we have done is, primarily we converted this certification course to diploma, and then most importantly, 4 years back, we have come out with the forensic standards. You can actually take a pride and raise your collars when you meet any other chartered accountant or a CPA in the world and say one fact, that you know, we are the first institute in the world which has come out with its own forensic standards. And the surprise stands is now the world is asking us to kindly share and give this standards, acceptance so that they can adopt in this. The biggest case which has happened in the recent past is in India, Bombay High Court has given an order very categorically saying that the financial frauds audit can only and only be done by chartered accountants and no other person. Just imagine. Now what has happened in the forensic, let me just quickly tell you about that. We started training all the enforcement agencies, whether it is C&AG, whether it is RBI, whether it is NIA, National Intelligence Unit of India, which is the topmost agency of the country. We started training SFIO, we started training CID, we started training CBI, we started training the banks, we started training the officers in the police department. Can you just imagine? And today the thought leadership is giving such a kind of recognition that look, this institute was always looking inward, and now this is the first time ICAI started looking outward to embrace and get people together and make them understand the relevance of chartered accountants over this period of time. Is it making a difference? Yes or no? Yes. Just think. Now when we talk about DFI or might be forensic standards, when we talk about trainings, when we talk about doing certain engagements, to just tell you, if I can share, if you permit me, I can share 2 such instances, my own personal example. The largest forensic engagement of UAE is being done by me. I cannot name, but surely when you meet in person, I can name that also. From the stage, I cannot. And today, let me tell you, in 45 days, the biggest law firms and the largest audit firms, which are taking 7 months, 8 months time, or even 3-4 years in certain cases, we have done this entire engagement using AI, technology, and the knowledge of forensic in 45 days. That's it. How is it possible? The kind of knowledge we carry as Indian chartered accountants make that foundation very strong. And we all have to understand. I'm talking all these things. Shall I share one thing which is personal? I am the person who got 0 twice in information technology paper as a student. अरे थोड़ा तो ताली बजा दो, फादर तो कभी अप्रिशिएट नहीं करे मैं. Twice I got 0. And the SSP portal, UDIN, you talk about digital learning hub, you talk about any digital transformation which has been taken place. I was fortunate, and institute has given me such a huge blessing that I could actually be leading all these projects from front. There cannot be a body like institute जो बच्चा, और एक बात बोलूं, 14 बार जो बच्चा CA एग्जाम लिखा है, I wrote 14 attempts. जो 14 attempts लिखकर, नंदा जी भी बोल दिए भाई उनके पॉडकास्ट में, वो पूछे मेरे से कि बोलूं नहीं बोलूं. I said, sir, don't worry, tell. If I am able to even motivate one, I am the happiest person. A person who took 14 attempts to pass CA could actually convert the entire curriculum, and we changed the entire landscape of how a CA profession has to go through. Never thought about 3 years articles will become 2 years. 8 papers will become 6 papers, and there will be multiple choice of subjects which they can adopt. Think over it. And when I am talking about a person like me who's got twice 0, I think there are much better person who are sitting here, because you all are successful, bigger, larger than what I have thought about. Just imagine, don't have that fear. Adoption of AI is, technically if you ask me, there is a speed which is called youth, and there is an experience which is called seniors. Time has come where these two have to come together. I am promising you one thing, wherever in the world, we all will rule. If experience and speed is going to come together, it's going to make a whole lot of difference. Now, just for your update, we are actually coming out with a 3-day certification course on data privacy and data protection. What is the fees, do you know? 5,000 rupees. The entire course has been finalized, approved by the council. Shortly we are going to launch. We are coming out with 3 days cyber security certification course. What is the fees? 5,000 rupees. This only your institute can do, sir. No institute can do this. And let's be proud about our institute that, institute, 25 years back it is thought about digital accounting and assurance board. Today, which is relevant where the world is talking about, I think, ये तो क्या है, नॉर्थ ब्लॉक के कॉरिडोर्स में भी जाना चाहिए मैसेज आप सब लोगों के पास से. Because they think that, chartered accountants have certain limitations in doing certain things. But no, there might be some exception, doesn't matter. Now, when I talk about little more, I spoke 10 days back or 12 days back in Dubai again with one more, association. I talked about people have to understand the difference between digitization, automation, machine learning, AI, and much more. And take it from me, जो आदमी CA पढ़कर सब सब्जेक्ट पास हो गया ना, इनकम टैक्स पढ़ लिया, GST पढ़ लिया, वैट पढ़ लिया, कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स पढ़ लिया, वो आदमी के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी सबसे ईजी है. And please understand one fact. If you are not going to understand technology, I am not telling you to learn technology, I am telling you to understand technology. Either you know or you know who know. Shall I repeat? Either you know or you know who know. If you know, then only you know who know. Simple logic है sir. आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. You don't have to do anything. You only have to know what is the subject. If I am not a subject expert, who is the subject expert? You should never tell your client or your promoters saying that I don't know. You should know that much, which is keeping you always relevant. The promoter or the owner of a business should always think that as a chartered accountant, you are abreast with the newer technologies which is coming in. I am not telling you to learn programming and coding languages, but please adopt technology to a level where you only have to understand what is requirement at what point in time. बाद में expert आके बेच लेगा. So my purpose of coming here primarily was just to create that awareness that don't have limitation of age in learning technology. This is part and parcel of it. Earlier, businesses were in center, technology used to move around it. But now technology is in center and businesses are made based on use of technology. So you cannot miss out on knowing what is required to be known. And my folded hand request, after seeing my father who is now going to be 80, he is still relevant by knowing what technology he should be using. That sometime later when Jay or Rishi calls me for giving a lecture, at that point in time I'll take a separate lecture for might be 1 or 2 hours. I'll request you all people to invite me. I'll come on my own cost, don't worry. No, but only thing is, you know, the journey of this technology adoption is something which you all have to embrace. And I think embracing technology and remaining relevant is undoubtedly going to be the fact statement. I compliment Jay and his team for conducting this program. I took little more time, but I don't hesitate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dayabai, for that thought-provoking and the insightful session. And I can say one thing after listening to you, you are just like our honorable IT minister, like Ashwini Vaishnav ji. I mean, the way you connected the innovation with the responsibility, governance, and the professional value was extremely inspiring. Can we have a huge round of applause for Dayabai? And with that, I would like to call upon the stage chairman, vice chairman to present a memento on behalf of the entire ICI Dubai chapter and the members. Thank you once again, Dayabai, for gracing the event and, of course, for your insightful sessions. So, members, we now move into the technical sessions of the today's summit. Our first speaker will take us straight into the practical world of the digital transformation and the AI-driven change, setting the tone for what lies ahead. And to formally introduce our next speaker, it's give me a great pleasure to invite our treasurer, CA Ashna Mulgaonkar, on the stage. And please give her a warm welcome as she walks over the stage.
Good morning. When a chartered accountant like Dayabai addresses us, we cannot call him a guest because he's someone who's just come home, though I know him for 10 years. For someone like me, who juggles many roles, who do you think becomes the most important person back home? No answers? Most important person back home. There are no CEOs, there are no CFOs. It's that one person that becomes very important. It's the house help. Let's call her Kantabai today. They just don't clean. They run full operations. They know everything, what is placed where, what you brought 3 months ago and you forgot. Remember those classic ads which said, Zara sa pitambari? How many remember this ad? How many remember these ads? Yes. At home, this Zara sa the house help. One visit and suddenly the house looks spick and span, as if it's ready for the guests to arrive. If she doesn't come for one day, everybody is in emergency mode, isn't it? That's exactly how let us feel at work also, when there are a number of emails, reminders, follow-ups, drafts, schedules. And on the top of that, we are expected to decide, innovate, and lead. So, what Pitambari does for utensils, or what Kantabai does at our homes, now AI is doing in offices. That's the relevance which I wanted to bring up. Everybody doesn't have a house help in office, but everyone can have their personal assistance in the form of AI. So adapt it as soon as you can, because quietly they work, efficiently they work, without any chai breaks. From remembering things, drafting emails, organizing your meetings, tracking them, AI has moved from being just a tool to becoming a personal assistant. At home, we all want that Nirma effect, but in office, we would like that little effect, which is a small fragrance of freshness. So today, we not only use AI as personal assistants, but they also become our co-workers. And today is one such session. And who do we have with us to address? We have someone from Emirates Chartered Accountant, which is now called as CALA Emirates. Do you all know Emirates Chartered Accountant? Yes, we all know. But just as Dayabai said, you have to be relevant. You are relevant, but if you do not adapt to what technology is giving you, you will no more be relevant. So Emirates Chartered Accountant, CLA Emirates decided to start a new branch in form of technology. It's a new division which they have started. And who is leading it? It is led by Mr. Manjunath Heber. As a senior solution architect at CLA Emirates, he leads initiatives in AI-driven technology, digital transformation, and intelligent automation for enterprises across industries. With decades of experience in the IT and consulting ecosystem, he has helped organizations reimagine business operations by combining automation, AI, and data-centric architectures. Manjunath brings a strong blend of strategic advisory and hands-on execution work closely with leadership teams to identify high-impact transformation opportunities, redesign processes, and implement scalable AI-enabled solutions. So without taking much of your time, let us put our hands together for Mr. Manjunath.
Thank you so much. Hello everyone, good morning. Am I audible? Awesome, thank you so much. So there was a statement from Jayabai and other people also. It was very relevant. So now, basis what they have a conversation, right? Let's little deep dive into what does that mean to the business process operation, right? So let's not wasting much of a time. Let's straight away deep into what we are going to look forward. So before even I deep dive into the business process operations and the what's in it for me in the AI, let's look back from 1980s, what had happened, right? So, so from the digitization, nobody has said no for it, and maybe pushed it a little more, but there was no other option, had to adopt. And secondly, the connectivity and the era of internet and the cloud mobility. And now in the era of 2020s, we are into the digital transformation, AI, automation, intelligence, intelligent enterprise, too many things, right? So I think everybody have heard about AI, automation, AI agent, agentic framework. So, but from the business operation perspective, specifically in the group of CAs, what is it in for me? How do I adopt it, or how do I adopt this technology into my operation? How the benefit story will be driven, and what is the other intangible benefit I should look forward it, right? Let's touch off the few use cases, few concepts. I know I have the limited time, so I'll try my level best to touch off the core. So let's look at some the fundamentals, right? So when it comes to the automation, it has a journey, right? It is not the switch, or it is not the one-time adoption. You have to continue to do it, right? So from the digitization to the automation, intelligence, assisted autonomy, and then there is how you will reach to the intelligence enterprises, right? So, and there is nowhere that you need to start from the beginning, or there is no point that you need to stop it somewhere. It is a continuation journey. We need to continue to churn out the things, and that is how we will be able to adopt the transformation or a digital AI into our operational processes, right? So second part of the journey is, everybody talks about artificial intelligence, AI, that AI can do movie, AI can do animation, AI can do that, this. But the fundamental is what's in it for the business process operation. And having said that, AI or artificial intelligence or machine learning, it's not just 2-3 years of story. It was there from the beginning, right? But how it was happening is basically specific to the business process and specific to the set of data and specific to the problem that you are doing it, right? And it is bounded to your data. There is no other data which is being used to do that, there is a certain set of data only being used, right? So that is how the traditional AI or artificial intelligence being done in the industry, it was there, right? Coming to the large language model, I think I don't deep dive into the technology behind this to the core. I think there are other speakers who are going to touch upon a couple of the points, right? So when it comes to large language model, there are two things happen. One, this model is not limited to certain set of problem. Second, this model is not trained on specific data, it is trained on the large set of data, right? That's where it is adopted much faster than the older AI models, right? So if you look at it in the context of any of the processes, any of the problem, you don't need to use your data to train those models. It is already trained with large amount of data. You will have to just give you a problem, and this model will help you get the output from it, right? So just a quick summary of this particular slide is where building a model, training, using your data to get the AI in-house would take years or two. Even I remember when we training some model for invoice extraction, other kind of things, we have spent almost around 9 months, 12 months to just get the basic model trained, right? So nowadays, in just matter of week, you will be able to get those results much accurately, much lower cost, and high confidential data, right? So that is how this AI is getting transformed and adopted. So if anybody asks, AI was there, I mean, just 3 years back, no, it was there from multiple decades, but during these 2-3 years, the adoption rate is increased significantly for 3 reasons. One, the implementation time is reduced. Second, the cost of usage is reduced. And third, the accuracy is increased like significantly, right? When we build AI model for a year, then we will be able to reach only, let's say, 60-70% of the accuracy. But using this LLM model, we will be able to reach that 85-90% of the accuracy within 2-3 weeks. That is the beauty of this whole LLM models, right? And by the way, AI is not just LLM model. So we are relevant to the business process operation. So we are just talking about LLM models. So there are too many components exist, right? So let's understand this particular story, right? So we all know what is AI and other thing, but from the LLM perspective, it is limited to the business process operations and handling with the text, right? So I even remember for a customer query of the process use case back in maybe 2015, there was a email coming from the customer that we need to understand the key element out of that data and make a structured data for the next set of process, right? So here I have taken one of the use case where I wanted to travel to London for a ICA event on February 16, and I prefer for a business class, right? So if you look at this particular data, anybody can write any language, any way they want. They can make it crisp, they can make it a story, and person who is writing, they can say that I have this problem, so I cannot travel on this, and I have a problem on my knee, so I need a exit place seat, and all those things story he can write. But to book a flight, what is required, right? So the person name who is traveling, and what is the date, what is the destination, what is the source, what is the company if it is a business class, that is the only important information is required to book a flight, right? So this LLM model, you give any large text or a small text, as long as that relevant information is exist in this kind of a mail body, it will go and extract the data out through the LLM model or through a AI model, right? So if you look at it, there are 4-5 data which is required, and it is extracted correctly. So now this is just a one AI model. Now if I have to adopt this into any of your business process, so this model cannot fly in the air. You need some integration to be done, right? So we can use the email, you can use the chatbot. So what will happen? Mail comes, this AI engine reads it. If there is any missing information, it will identify and communicate back to the sender saying that your information is missing. The communication channel can be an email or chatbot, depends upon how the adoption should be done, right? So this is how the AI adoption, as a small example which I am taking just to make sure the fundamentals are right. So after this I have some of the use cases. I'll just take a pause if there is any question. Happy to take some questions. No questions or? Yeah, there is some mic or anything as such. Sorry, I couldn't hear you, sir.
How does it know that Manjunath what percentage of this data?
Mm-hmm.
Because there are some data which are confidential.
Correct.
So is that takes the data into game or it takes from the public sources or how does it?
No. So that's another important question, sir. Thank you so much for that. So I'll address your question by taking one example, right? So whenever we give this kind of a content or a demo, there are common question which comes across from the business team is that I can use the ChatGPT to do this. Why I have to come to you for implementation, right? Simple answer is if you do this with the ChatGPT, you will have to share this data with the public, right? ChatGPT may use that data for their training purpose or anything as such. You never know. I mean, we don't have a habit of reading that terms and condition to ensure that is my data is stored in the cloud, being used. No, we just give it, get the answer done, move on, right? So when you give it to the ChatGPT for doing your own personal work, that data may or may not be stored because I don't know. So that's not good to make a comment in the stage, but it is maybe chances. But when we use this integration platform, what we do, we ensure that we take the logic what the LLM model provides and this data stands by at your enterprise, right? So this is one example. We deal with the multiple data like whole your purchase register, sales register to ask the questions on those data and get the response, right? So we ensure that the data is into your database and we just take the logic from the LLM model and fire it, get the response, right? That's how it's operate. So to answer it, no. Yes, sir.
Identify that Manjunath is a person's name, like Manjunath C. Habar, not just Manjunath.
Yeah. So there is one more content also. The AI is not the magic. It's a science and logic, right? So in the technical terminology, we call it as intent identification. That means what is the intent behind the word when you write it, right? So it can be possible that he may write that I'm traveling along with so and so. So how the AI engine will identify what is the person who is starting, right? It is understanding your English and making a sense out of it, right? There is where we use the prompt. I think there is one more session where he is talking about the prompts and guardrails. So you may get it better, more understanding on that particular thing. We use the prompting to ensure what set of data has to be extracted properly instead of making it duplicate or irrelevant data to the us, right? Any other question I should? Okay. So now we understand this fundamentals of what AI and automation can help because we have talked about the a small use case where AI and integration can be done. So let's look at about this use case. So before I jump on to the use case, when you look at these processes, right, I have few demos which I have crafted, and when you look at about these demos, don't look at, okay, I have to use this bot into my organization, or else my process is not in this pattern, or I don't do this process in this way, right? So this is the process which we are showing here to ensure you have to identify your relevant process at your organization, right? Just synchronize with this pattern and adopt this pattern of solution and then explore it at your organization. When we have an integration done, right, it's an AI agent plus robotic process automation is what we call. This robotic process automation will allow you to customize the way you want, right? So this is just a demo for what we have done to the other customer, and then you can look at it. The customization is all doable, right? Let's look at a quick context around it. What is the problem of this particular process? I think in this forum, I may need not to talk about what is the problem of bank reconciliation. Maybe you all expert than me in this room, right? There are multiple banks, multiple statements, multiple transactions which happens on the system, and few do reactive, few do proactive, and there is a time which is being spent. And having said that, there are a couple of integrations also available directly from SAP, Oracle, Tally. How extent it is being good, that's all depends on the operation to operation, industry to industry. So why the RPA and automation born back in 2010 or maybe 2-3 years before that, so that the business would get an edge to automate the process, whatever the gap in the ERP or whatever the enhancement that to look for, without spending much time in building the whole integration and the logic in the platform, right? So having this problem said, so the robotic process automation and AI together, right? So now here I'm going to talk about how AI being used in the business operation, right? Business process operation, right? So there is a process which we have developed in the bot where it is going to download the bank statement from the portal and reconcile between your purchase and sales, and then after all, what is the ledger to be blocked if it is not matching, right? There is where the AI engine which helps you identify the transaction part of which ledger from your system, right? That's a small AI agent embedded into the robotic process automation tool. It can be embedded into anything, right? So that is how you may make use of the AI agents at your business process, right? Then comes to the outcome. I think I'll also put it on this slide. I may not talk about in detail. So you already know what is the benefit of having automation into the business process. So when we do this kind of an automation to the enterprise where the offices across multiple nation, within the nation there are multiple offices and multiple offices where the transaction being done. The one I think what we have done is 120 accounts across 15 banks. This is one of the UAE use case, right? So this is what the problem being transformed to the automation and AI for the large manufacturing organization in UAE. So I will not deep dive in this aspect too much. This is a quick demo. If you can reduce the volume a bit. There is a demo where we have used Oracle as an ERP. I mean, in this case, any ERP that can be used, that can be a SAP or Tally or Salesforce, any application that you talk about, right? So if you look at this, bot will download the bank statement from the multiple banks using the credential. So there may be a question, I may take that right away. What if there is a CAPTCHA, is it legal and all those things? That is off the stage discussion, we can still do that. So the bot will download the statement and identify the purchase and debit and credit and all the interest charges of that particular statement. When it comes to bank statement, it's not just debit and credit, right? There are too many things, and I mean, basis our understanding on this particular account, there are almost around 22 transaction type which is being there on the statement. So we had to identify those, and then after that, that has to be identified where to punch in, right? There are too many ledgers in the system that can be supplier payment or the customer payment. Customer payment is not always easy, right? What if they deducted something? What if they are not paid fully? What if there is merged multiple invoices? There are too many logic that need to be written. And after all, with the bank charges and the interest, all those things where to punch in, right? There is where the AI is helping us to identify the respective ledger that can be posted, and then again it will hand it over to the RPA bot, wherein again log into the Oracle ERP, punch those entry one by one to the right ledger. After all, there may be a still question, how do I trust whether it is right or wrong, right? At the end, when the bot has completed the transaction, it will create a report for you to say, okay, this is what the entries which I have done, out of which these are accurate, these are not accurate. You may have to quick review it and then done, right? So how it is helping is basically when you manually doing it may take around, let's say 8 hours in a day, the bot will do it 6 hours or 7 hours in a day, and remaining 1 hour you just have to validate and move forward, right? So is it not great to have it in the adoption? And that is one of the reason where RPA and automation or AI is largely adopted across multiple regions, right? I'll take another process. Again, I'm making a statement that don't just stick to this particular process. This is one of the pattern of process. You can connect this process any of your business cases. This is one of the major process still where extracting the supplier invoices and entering them to the ERP, right? When it comes to ERP, that can be any ERP. So the problem is here, supplier invoice has its own format, and that can be scanned, that can be a digital, and in many of the inventory and the manufacturing plants, that they get the invoice, they sign it, they stamp it, the whole context is disturbed, right? So there is where we wanted to have some AI component in place where this bot can read those supplier invoices, extract the relevant data out of it. That can be a supplier detail, buyer detail, line item, tax detail, amount, quantity, bank detail. All such information can be read from the invoices. And again, there is also a ledger identification where this amount has to go. VAT has to go some different ledger, and amount has to go to the supplier or a ledger. And when it comes to the inventory, so which SKU has to be chosen in the system to park this particular entry. All those things we make use of the AI agent to do this particular job. So again, I am not going to talk about the benefit. So let's also have a quick demo. So this is also the invoice processing one, which we have done it for the same organization, where large manufacturing organization. So what they do is they get the, I mean, it was a decentralized operation earlier, because everybody used to process the invoice from their respective offices. So when the bot is in place, we asked every decentralized team to put the invoice into some centralized location, right? So every team will put that invoice into that particular folder, which is accessible for the bot and the human, and this bot will read that invoices one by one, extract the relevant invoices. But this organization is not just invoice reading, this is also having a purchase order, this is also having a GRN, this is also having a custom documents and the packaging list, right? All this sort of information is being read, and identifying of which ledger to be used, which place to be posted, again this AI agent. So here there are two AI agents, one is data extraction and one is identification of ledger. These two AI agents stitch together with the robotic process automation to complete your life cycle, right? That is how you can make use of this AI agents and bot in your business process. So far whatever I've, two processes which I've shown you, right? Just don't stick into these processes. This is just a thought process for you to think what sort of process of this pattern will be available in my organization, so that I can explore the automation. That is the way, or that is the intent of crafting these demo, so that all the data entry, reconciliation, data extraction, AI engine, multiple things being stitched together to make the automation, right? So I'll spend some time here, and then after that I'll little rush. So I also have to watch a clock. So, and many of you are thinking that, okay, let's look at the process which can be automated. But what is AI? What is RPA? What is integration? There are some confusion, right? So you have seen this process of invoice data entry. So what I have done is I have just bifurcated this whole process into a six department. One is the data extraction from the invoices. Second is the ledger identification, and then in between there is a manual validation, right? So everybody says that there is an AI which do etc, 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 but do not let AI do by itself. It is important to have a validation in between from the manual team to ensure there is no hallucination or errors being prone to the system, right? So manual intervention in between the complete life cycle is very, very important to ensure that these things are not happening, right? Because in this forum, at least, largely playing with the numbers are once done. So ensure that the manual validation is required, and then after that, posting that, reconciling that, and knocking off into a system, right? These are the large bracket of this whole process. So when it comes to this data extraction and ledger identification is only the AI component of in whole this process. Rest of the remaining 3-4 buckets are the robotic process automation, which is rule based. There is nothing AI being used. So sometime what happens is, I'll share a quick story. When I'm talking to one of the CFO in India, so there was a person who is saying that we are adopting AI, let's automate this bank reconciliation. So I said, okay. And then if there is an integration and other thing which is fairly fine, but my ask is, to do the bank reconciliation, do you still need an AI? I don't know. So what is the purpose of this? I don't know. So the intent of sharing this story is every process is not suits for AI, and every process doesn't require an AI. And when you say AI, it's an agent. It is defined to do some certain set of job it will do, and the rest is not an AI. It is an integration concept, right? So whenever you look at the process of any of your use cases, look at in this particular fashion. Let's say you bifurcate the process into 6, 7, 8 and identify what box is relevant for AI, what box is integration and automation and rule based, right? That is how you will be able to identify the use case more relevant where AI automation can automate your processes. So interesting, one more thing, it is relevant to, I mean all these three relevant to UAE, yeah. So this is one of the process which we have done it in-house, and where all the CLA taxation team is making use of this particular bot on a daily basis. So problem is where people spending too much time in reconciling the VAT and making it 201 and then filing it into Emirate Tax Portal, right? So filing into Emirate Tax Portal and creating a 201 file summary is not a problem. It's an easy job, right? Problem is reconciling your purchase register, sales register, and import of goods, import of services, VAT ledger, and after all auditing, you create the 201 file summary. So there is a defined logic of check any invoices being booked on the holiday. Check is the 5% tax is been calculated properly or not, and is it exempt goods category of sales tax has been identified properly or not. So there is a rules, there is an AI engine which built on top of it. The bot and AI engine put together this reconciliation and creating of 201 file summary is being done, and it is being used extensively in the organization. And this particular process helping the organization to save some time. Instead of their CA or a taxation team doing this kind of a job, they will interact with the customer and make them understand what is wrong, what is right, and these jobs will be done by the bots, right? So let's have a quick demo on this, where I mean you must be aware of it, what CLA Emirates operates into tax advisory and audit, where they have the invoicing and digital transformation also additional service line part of it. So when it comes to this VAT file automation, right? So they get the purchase, sales, audit, I mean the imports of service and goods, VAT ledger from multiple clients. When it comes to multiple clients, it's like multiple formats. Everybody has their own ERP system. It can be Tally to Salesforce to SAP or multiple, right? So how do they able to do it? I mean, everybody is spending good amount of time in understanding the data structure and converting into one format, and then from there 201 file summary. So we have created the bot where the data has to be put in this format, where each and every sheet has you populate the data and let the bot know what column to be referred, and then upload into the bot, where bot will do the reconciliation and send you the 201 file summary. And then what is the job here? Let's say there is a 1 hour which required for every CA to do the reconciliation. So you need to spend only 5 minutes in the beginning to populate the mapping file, and at the end you may spend around let's say 10 minutes to review the data which is done by the bot, right? The 45 minutes is taken care by the bot, and you just have to spend 15 minutes to complete this particular process, right? So many people ask, okay, bot is taking more time and I am able to do it in half an hour, or bot is not doing it in the expected time. So boss, you are not going to do along with the bot. Give it to the bot, you do your job. Why are you waiting for the bot to do it, right? That is how you will be able to save the time, right? This is another process which is also relevant for how automation and AI agents can put together to automate the process. I'll take a pause again to have any questions. I love to hear the questions. Yeah, yes sir. Is there any mic for, sorry? Yeah.
Hi, good morning.
Yes.
Yeah. Morning. So here the bot is going to the transactions, and based on the codes, it is the finalizing and reconciling.
Correct.
When we as a chartered accountant, when we are analyzing that one, we check that one whether the code is given by correct or not. How the bot will fix this one?
Exactly. That's a relevant question. This is what even we discussed while we are doing this development. So when you're choosing the code or the calculating of tax, maybe Tally or any of the software will choose their own code and you choose that respective code while posting that entry into the system, right? But there is a statement or a definition when it comes to exempt goods or zero rated or out of scope. There is a definition behind this particular terminology, right? So the bot is not just looking at those code and making it correct or not. So bot has given the prompt or a guardrails on this particular definition to check the line item. So it is not just the tax code being used to gauge the classification, it is also being used the amount, the narration of the invoice, the supply source and the destination and the tax being calculated. And after all, when you combine this 4, 5, 6 element to validate that particular classification, it will get you whether it is the tax code you chosen is accurate or not, right? So for example, out of scope, right? Out of scope is, if I am not wrong, where supply of goods from the different region of the country then sold also to the different region of the country, if I am not wrong, right? So what we do, you may choose in whatever the category in the while posting, right? The bot will check where is the origin, where is the destination, what is the narration, is it falling under that category or not, right? I hope I have understood your question, sir.
Yeah, excuse me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, morning. We have a bot which after at least couple of years we managed to get 95% accuracy on almost all the data fields, but particularly on the P1 number we got only 20% accuracy. So still somebody need to manually map and enter the P1 numbers. So it's conveyed that it is almost impossible to achieve it by my service provider because there are cases where there are suffix and prefix coming along with the P1 numbers. The 0 and O's get mismatched. So like this, there are various challenges raised by the service provider. So how smart can you think it is possible to pick up these type of complicated data, not very straightforward data like vendor name, invoice number are more straightforward, but this is PO number is our data which we are providing to the supplier. So they may not provide it accurately as the way we provided it.
So I don't know, I think this may be the way you design the bot, right? So when there is a technology is capable of doing something, how do you adopt is all important to the organization. If the adoption is not right, then this kind of problem will be there. So I don't deep dive into that particular question, sir, but I think we can have a off the stage conversation. The PO is in your system. Why do you need to extract it from the invoice, right? So you extract some data out of it, whatever is coming out, and then compare it with your existing PO whether it is matching or not. So you know the 0 is going to be a problem, yes is going to be a problem, Z is going to be a problem. So we need to manipulate that those data and compare it with your PO. And when if it is matching, then done, right? And then when you deep dive into the rest of the data, item detail, supplier, tax and everything, you will get to know whether it is matching or not, right? So when you design the process, you need to design in such a way wherever you have the solid data sets available, rely on that rather than relying on the, yes, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, any other questions?
One more? Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So, hi, let's say if I have 100 clients who are giving me 100 input files in a different format, and you just showed that probably you have to upload the input files over a Google Forms or a Microsoft form, and then you will get the desired output. So that's a reconciliation you are providing as an output, but for me to share the input files, do I need to convert those 100 individual different formatted files into a standard format file which you would need to give me an output? Or you have a bot also to read different formats to convert it into a standard input file and then give you an output file?
Yeah, it can be done in both ways. So you can take a seat, sir. I'll address that question. So when you say you know the specific set of input format which I am receiving, right? Let's say 10, 15, 20 or 30. But why we have done set of solution for the CLI Emirates is they don't know how many formats of data they will receive, right? Maybe thousands odd clients and everybody having their own format of ERP, and when they download and give it to them, they don't know, they cannot say, okay, I have 30 formats, or they cannot say they have 40 formats. They have n number of formats. That's why we ask them to convert this. But in your case, if you know, okay, this is the only 10 standard of format which coming from the customer or whosoever it is, that can be converted. You don't need to put the manual effort. But why we have done this solution for CLI Emirates is because they don't know about the format. That is the only reason. Yeah? I'll move on. Okay, okay.
Hi, good morning. My question is that, this RPA and AI, between this, which one is going to be beneficial or which one is to be used? This is a little confusing to us as a technical person. So if you could just, briefly explain, or what should we be reading or understanding this to get which is better solution for my company and also more cost efficient, and, that is what I want to know.
Yeah. So it's a relevant question. But what happens, right, when there is a process, let's say you have identified the process, right? There is where the experts or the people who have a deeper knowledge into the system will be able to help you guide that in the right way. Sometimes misguide also, I don't comment in that. But when you identify the process, somebody has to analyze, is there a AI requirement is there or not? And when there is an AI requirement, is this full cycle of the process is AI requirement, or any component of the process is AI requirement, right? So that is how you design the solution to automate the process, right? There is no fixed answer that is this an AI use case or this is an automation use case. It may be a combination of both, right? When you wanted to solve the process, what is the technology to be adopted to solve the problem is more important than whether we should choose the AI or automation. That's not the problem, right? So maybe possible, like how I say VAT or a invoice processing or a bank reconciliation, the robotic process automation and AI put together, the process has been solved, right? Just AI, I mean, how will you use that AI, right? You need some places to integrate to make the process complete. That is how we make use of the AI. I know I am running short of this time. I won't take this particular use case. We'll have an offline discussion. So there is something interesting coming up. I'll also not take this particular thing. And there is a one thing. Everybody can scan this particular QR code, and there is a raffle drone. And basis your interest, we will choose in live. There is nothing off the table. Everything is going to happen on live. So while you are scanning, I'll just make some statements, right? Whenever you attend such kind of events, many of the places it is iPhone and some TV or some heater or some other equipments where you will take home. What is the benefit to the organization when the organization asks what you have won and is it available in the office? No. But this time we are going to give you the bot where you can implement at your organization, and you tell your manager, okay, this time I won the bot, it is going to work behalf of me, right? So please scan as much as possible, and at the end of this session we'll have the draw also. So I'll take 2 more minutes, right? I have got lately introduced. So then let's take a win again back. So okay, now I'm just trying to conclude this session, right? When it comes to RPA automation, there are laundry list of use cases which we have done to the clients across the, I don't say globe, multi-region like APAC, US, UAE. So I'm just giving you the list of use cases, which is what we have done to the other organization. And then assess what sort of processes are more relevant to your organization, right? So when it comes to the invoice understanding, which we have explained, I mean, whatever is in the bold, I have given the demo of that, and whatever is in the not in the bold, we can also discuss of the table, of the stage. And there are some important or more interesting use case which is also there, which I have not taken here because I have just looked at a few departments only, right? These are the laundry list of use cases which we can do. So there is one interesting use case which I will talk about. I don't have the demo handy for today because I've just came to a conclusion with the CFO while I'm traveling. So there is one use case where CFO is mentioning that I have 50 odd type of data where every department will come up their own slicing and dicing on the Excel or a Power BI, and when I ask them to cut it more, they will take some time, right? So and then the next phase of it is that this AI can integrate all this data and get me an answer back of it, right? So we took a step back and we said, okay, let's not boil the ocean, let's take a step by step. So we have created an engine where the data is given to the AI model, and the CFO can ask any sort of questions, right? What is my supplier who is having higher contribution to the organization? What are the list of supplier who's providing the items 0 rated tax, right? And when it comes to the sales register, that the person can ask slicing and dicing of it, right? So we have completed the second stage of the milestone, where you have given the multiple set of test data, and the person will give you a chat interface. The CFO can ask the questions again regarding this multiple department, and he will get the answer. The third milestone which we are going to achieve is this all multiple 50 department data is integrated, and then you ask the questions where this can integrate with multiple department and respond the questions. There may be a predictive analysis or multiple things that can happen there, right? So that is the kind of use cases which can be possible in the automation. It is not just an RPA, it is not just an AI, or it is not just an integration. It's a place where we think and identify the right use case and design it in the right fashion so that it is adoptable in the organization. So the one thing I wanted to quote basis my experience of 1.5 decade into this, that whatever you do a technology, if the adoption rate is not good, then this change is not having any sense, right? Whenever you build a technology, whenever you identify any solution, please ensure it is adopted accurately at the organization. The change management has to be driven properly to ensure that we able to transform the business using technology. Yes, can we have the referral draw? Yeah? Okay. Manu or anybody wants to join me? Yeah? Yeah.
Thank you. I hope that members scanned that QR code, right? So they are ready with the results. Okay. So thank you so much, Manjunath, for that riveting and highly insightful session. That was indeed a practical. So thank you so much. And your presentation clearly demonstrated that how AI-driven digital transformation is no longer theoretical. So can we have a huge round of applause for the Manjunath? And to do the raffle and of course to present a memento to him as a token of appreciation, I would like to call Jay Bhai and along with him the managing partner of CL Emirates, Manoharan. Please come on the stage, and along with Ashna and Pankaj Jain to please come on the stage and to do the honor on behalf of the members and ICI Dubai chapter. Can we have a huge round of applause once again?
Wow, it's huge.
Chairman has done it. This bot can work for anything, huh? At home also it will work for you.
No, it's okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you once again, Manjunath, for that really insightful sessions. So friends and members, we now move forward to our next technical sessions, which focuses on a very critical area, the art and the science of the prompting and the AI guardrail. Yeah, so as professionals, understanding how to interact with the AI responsibly and effectively just as important as adopting the technology itself. And to formally introduce our next speaker, I would like to invite our executive committee member, the calm, cool, and energetic CA Balram Uchudi. Please kindly give him a warm welcome on the stage.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can we have a response from you? Good morning, all of you. Recently, I've attended an event conducted by DIFC on technology. The kind of developments that are happening, it is mind-blowing. We see a storm that is coming, AI storm that is coming. So unless we learn and embrace this and be ready to fly on that or sail on that storm, it is going to be difficult for all of us. Dear friends, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, CA Dr. Durgesh Pandey, who is a distinguished chartered accountant, law graduate, certified fraud examiner, and PhD in forensic accounting from National Forensic Science University, India. He serves as an honorary professor at the University of Portsmouth, UK, and is the author of well-regarded book, Forensic Foresights, published by Taxman. With over 15 years of exclusive experience in forensic investigations and advisory, Dr. Durgesh has led complex financial crime and dispute resolution assignments across multiple countries with a strong focus on technology, implementation, artificial intelligence, and AI-enabled forensic solutions. He has worked extensively with the law enforcement agencies, including the Enforcement Directorate, Economic Offences Wing, and ACB, and has conducted investigations in over 200 financial crime cases, many of which were appointed directly by the enforcement authorities for prosecution. His outstanding work has earned his commendations from the Director General of Police, Gujarat, on many occasions. Internationally, he was appointed Research-led India Desk for a Trans-Border Fraud Study funded by the UK Home Office, and he is a frequent keynote speaker at international conferences hosted by leading universities in the UK. A passionate educator and a trainer, he has trained senior bureaucrats, law enforcement officers from over 35 countries, senior bankers, and more than 20,000 chartered accountants, and actively teaches professionals on the real-world application of artificial intelligence in forensic investigations. Happy to say that he is also one of the speakers in our WOFA event that is going to happen in India soon. So today, as we talk about embracing technology and remaining relevant, there is no better person to guide us than someone who perhaps governments, enforcement agencies, and professionals stay on one step ahead of financial crime. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome CA Durgesh Pandey onto the stage.
Good morning. I suppose this has started working? Okay, thank you. Yeah, still 15 minutes to morning. Yes, I like to finish on time. Starting on time is not in my hand. But I like to finish on time. There's always a request that, we say, jaldi shuru kariye to jaldi khatam karenge. I always say, jaldi khatam karne ke liye jaldi shuru karne ka kahan zarurat hai? You can start any time, you can finish whenever you want. Nevertheless, let us make a bright Saturday morning. I had an overnight flight, was a bit fatigued, but looking at the energy of our chairman, Jay Bhai, he is the strongest shot of espresso which can energize you. I always say that your speech is something, the power and energy I need to learn. I wish I could speak like that. Nevertheless, so thank you Jay Bhai for inviting us, giving us this opportunity where we can speak. I heard Manjunath very keenly, gave some very insightful presentations and some excellent demo and the products. Thank you Manju, you have made my job a little bit easier because you have given the background. You have already warmed up the seat for me. Now, so what do I have? I have 3 things in my presentation. Probably I'll be discussing 2. Agents have been very well covered by him, so I'll not go to the agents. 2 things that I would like to cover. First is the art of prompting. Now there's nothing like wrong answer. We say that AI hallucinates. Yes, AI does hallucinate. It makes up things. Yes, it does make up things. Will AI replace people? Absolutely not. Trust me, from somebody doing it. Yeah, for your information, I am a core chartered accountant with no technology qualification except for the DISA qualification done by the ICAI. So I don't have any formal technical qualification. Yes, we do make AI agents. We do give customized solutions. We do give AI governance and PMO services. We do give that. But yes, at the core, I am a chartered accountant. And I still say we are more of solution provider and we are tool agnostic. So we don't sell tool or vendors. We give solutions. Now, AI hallucinates, correct. There's no doubt about it. What do we do to increase our confidence level? Generally, I used to have a mentee poll, but because of the shortage of time, we'll skip that. If by show of hand, how many of us are using any AI tool? ChatGPT. Let us say ChatGPT, that is the signature. Yes? And for those who are not raising their hand, I'll presume you are not using. Yeah, so we don't have, don't know, the other, can't say option. We have yes or no. Okay. So for those who are using, I am sure at some point of time you must have learned what guardrails and what to ask, how to ask. Probably today in the next 20-25 minutes that I have, I'll be reinforcing that knowledge on what to ask and how to ask. That will sharpen the answers that you get. Instead of asking 4 prompts, you will get answer in 1 prompt. That will be easy on your pocket. Of course, a lot of us may not be paying, but eventually they will charge. That will be easy on your pocket and it will be easy on the world, less power. Every time you say thank you, some tokens are consumed and a data center in US consumes power, cost of which collectively we and the future generations will be bearing. Okay, so as I was telling, what is the problem in prompting? The problem in prompting is not that you're not asking the questions right. It is the context. As you see, say I want to go from location A to location B, and I'm using a very simple example of GPS, which I'm sure 101% people in this room must have used. So a simple GPS, you want to go from location A to location B, and the answers or the questions that you put, the search that you put, the prompts, so-called questions that you put, instead of Beach Avenue, you write Beach Road. There is a roadblock which is not mapped in the GPS. Delivery gate versus main entrance, difference in nomenclature, and there is a rally or procession. Now these errors or these anomalies, if we talk in the finance term or in the data term, are not envisaged while designing the solution. And this is where the problem occurs for most of the prompting. Now what do we do for that? We have a structure on how to write a prompt and what should be included in a prompt. We'll be discussing that. But before that, today AI is being sold is the proper word. AI is being sold like anything in all types of organization. In fact, we had a very large investor based out in India. I was speaking with Jeb. I was telling him that investor was telling that someday we have a famous pan wala in Mumbai called as Muchchad Pan Wala, and that investor was telling the day is not very far when Muchchad Pan Wala will be using AI to put his pan, to make his pan, and he'll be coming with an IPO. That is how AI is being sold. You prefix or suffix anything with AI, it becomes AI, and people start selling that. But we have to understand not everything is AI. I do have a slide. What is AI and what is not an AI. I do have a slide, we'll go there. But please understand, 70 to 80% of the projects, and I don't say this, it's a McKinsey report, 70 to 80% of the projects are failing. And if you'll see the percentage which are successfully implemented, it is only 5%. Why do most of the projects are failing? They are not failing because we don't have people. There are two reasons. One, it is considered that AI is the magic wand. एक बार AI घुमा दिया, everything can happen on its own. No, that is not the case. So first of all, we need to tone down our expectation. Because I conduct and I appear in conferences everywhere. Somewhere I had a conference and I had some gentleman coming to me and he was telling that I want to synthesize this data. How do I do it? I told him these steps. He said, no. Is there not a tool? And then I remembered we have a famous statement from a politician based out in India, Alu dalo sona bahar. I hope you have heard that. So I said, what you are asking is, yahan se alu, wahan se sona, no, that is not possible. There has to be a way. Yes, it will ease your job, but like every good thing which takes its own sweet time, you have to invest your time to get those fruits. So it's not a magic wand. So the expectation needs to be toned down and brought to a realistic level. And please understand, there's no alternative of human in the loop. There's no alternative of professional judgment. I had a slide, I have not included in this. I call it the judgment dividend, where the pace of AI is used, and like our Daya sir was telling very much in the morning, the pace of AI is used and the intellect of human is used. That is where you get the dividend. That is called as the judgment dividend. If you rely on either of them, you will not be getting the dividend. Only AI will be prone to errors. You will never have that confidence. Only human, there will be bottlenecks. So you have to include both. So there's no alternative of human in the loop. Now, I told you, I'll tell you, everything is AI. Chat intelligence. That is a simple rule-based bot. It's a simple rule-based bot. You can create Excel sheet if, then, else. I understand all of us are chartered accountants or accountants in the hall, so we are well versed with spreadsheets, most popular of them Excel. The rule is if, then, else. If this, then this, else this. So chat intelligence is simply that. Autonomous workflow. Autonomous workflow are robotic process automation. And I agree to what Manjunath was telling before me, that AI is a tech, but it has to be built on something. It has to be built on something. So if you say pure robotic process automation, where it was rule-based, again, if, then, else. If this is the case, then this should happen. Whereas if you use AI, the biggest difference in AI and without AI is the synthesis of unstructured data. Synthesis of unstructured data. In a conventional tool, you will not have the facility of synthesis of unstructured data. Whereas in an AI tool, you will have synthesis of unstructured data. I remember a gentleman asking a question that how will the zeros, differences between zeros and differences between O's be recognized? He was asking that some simple invoices, if you have, that will be scanned, but how will a nuance of zeros and ones will be recognized? Now that is machine learning. It depends on the supervised learning and unsupervised learning. It gets a little bit technical, but if you have supervised learning, you show 50,000 invoices with zeros and O's, the machine will learn. That is machine learning. And mind you, machine learning, that is predictive reasoning. It's not been now. It has been since past, 50 years? In fact, AI. How many of you know that the concept of AI is since 60s? 60s? And what is the benchmark to know whether this is AI or not? The most famous test was developed by a mathematician called as Alan Turing, and it is called as the Turing test. Now what is the Turing test? It's very interesting and very simple. What is the Turing test? The Turing test says that an output, you have two set of outputs, one generated by human, one generated by machine, and if the user cannot differentiate which is human, which is machine, that is said that it has qualified the Turing test. So that is AI, artificial intelligence. And this is what is happening. We have, at least I come from a state where English is not the first language. So I have my staff, when they come to speak English, they fumble. They are not able to talk properly in English. But then when you get their email, oh my God. What is the English? I am sure this is not my personal experience, and we share this experience. The English is impeccable. You don't have words. So good. So that is the Turing test. I mean, I could not say that exactly qualifies for the Turing test because I can make out that this is machine, it's not human. But if someone like me uses that Turing test and gives you the content, probably I should not overestimate myself. I see some very erudite and senior gentlemen here, but I may be able to fool you that this is my generated content or this is AI generated content. So that is when it is said it qualifies the Turing test. So this is the test of AI. Now, why do AI projects fail? And mind you, I'll be telling you how to write a prompt. The time is short. Otherwise, I would have made you write a wrong prompt and a right prompt and the difference between wrong and right. But I'll be telling you, we'll end with that. So, why do AI projects fail? First, unclear organizational intent. Particularly, I have noticed, I travel across countries and continents, and I have noticed particularly in these jurisdictions, companies are doing well, they are flush with funds, they have earmarked funds that we want to implement an AI project. Now nobody knows what is that AI project. There's one discussion in the boardroom, we don't want to be left behind, we have to use AI. We have allotted a budget of $1 million. Get the AI solution. Now what is that AI solution? No one knows that. So, unclear. I'm sorry if I'm being too direct, but this is the case in most of the jurisdictions. And the irony is that most of the AI experts, they are technocrats. You know, like in India, we have those IIT grads. They speak a very polished, very sophisticated and excellent language, which no one in the boardroom understands. And IT is considered as a silo job of the CISO or the IT manager. Business has nothing to do with that. So, while in the morning, our Daya sir said that businesses are circling the technology, but please understand, we should still remember, technology is for business, business is not for technology. So, where most of the vendors who are selling AI tools are trying to fit your solution in their tool, it should be other way around. It should be in a manner that the tool should help you. Rather, you are taught the tool and you are told that this is the suboptimal solution that the tool is giving and you have to live with this option. That is not the case. So, unclear organizational intent, vague or ad hoc instructions, missing boundaries and escalation rules. Now imagine, I have an example where a data set is given. It is told that analyze the consumer complaint, find a solution and write a mail. Okay, I do have that. I suppose the next one is that I had a use case. Let me just go to that. Yeah. So, summarize the account activity and notify the customer. This is the prompt. Summarize you have given a data set, summarize the account activity and notify the customer. Now, automated customer email included partial personal data as per GDPR. In India, we have very recently DPDP Act has come. I'm sure in this jurisdiction we have personal data protection. You're not supposed to give personal identifiable information over email. Of course, without not a disclaimer, without not establishing those guardrails. Communication tones varied for countries where you have huge geographies, where the tone is different. India falls into that category. The tone has to be different, jurisdiction-wise, location-wise, geography-wise. Sensitive accounts lacked escalation or human review. Instructions were never reviewed by the customer experience team. So, this is what happens with a weak prompt. Now, how do we write a strong prompt? How do we write a strong prompt? And how do you create a solution? From tool to solution. How do you create a solution from tool? So prompting, guardrails, and then comes AI agent. Let me explain or discuss how do you write a strong prompt. I'll take next 5-7 minutes to discuss this. Though I have 4 points only, I'll be giving you 2 more points which are not there on this slide. So first, mind you, it may be difficult initially when you start writing the prompt, but please make it a habit to include all these 4 points in your prompt to get solution every single time. So what is the first thing that should be included in the prompt? The first thing that should be included in the prompt is verb. Verb is doing, action, analyze, summarize, write, tabulate. This is the verb. So your prompt should always have a verb. Otherwise, how will the AI know what is required to be done? See, mind you, AI models are trained in a manner that it will never disagree with you. Try doing that. AI models are trained in a manner that it will never disagree with you. If I say that this hall is having too many people, it will give me a reply, yes, you are correct. The hall looks small, people look cramped, and this doesn't look appropriate. Besides, there are safety concerns. Do you want me to list out safety protocol in Dubai jurisdiction? And if I say, this hall looks appropriately full, you are right. This is appropriately full. Any more people other than this would make this claustrophobic. Do you want me to give you some engagement tips to engage your audience? So, AI doesn't denies. It always answers in positive. You ask anything, अच्छा ही लगेगा. It will always agree with you. I had a contextual example to that which I don't want to give. Probably my wife may be watching this, though she doesn't believe that I get paid for talking. Anyways, so the first thing is instruction, action, verb. Next, context. That is background. This can also be considered as data boundary. So what is context? If I want to come and speak here, I have to give a context that I am speaking with 500, 700 chartered accountants based out of GCC region. I want to start my session with a storytelling exercise. Give me a good story. The more context I give, the better are my prompts. I hope you are getting. It is simply like you sit in a car, you have a driver, you sit in a car, and then you say, chalo. Now AI is that driver which will not say no, it will start the car and it will start moving. Kahan? Where? Where will it go? Where its intelligence takes it. It will not go where you want it to go. It may go where you want it to go based on your inferential profiling. So there's something called as inferential profiling. It infers. It doesn't knows, it infers. Again and again you are asking for questions related to a teenage boy. Again and again you are asking questions to ChatGPT, for that matter, any AI related to questions. You are asking questions related to a teenage boy. So it makes an inference that with your age profile, you have a teenage boy. This is called as inferential profiling. And the advertisements that you get in your mailbox, वो क्या 30s का एज रहेगा तो छोटे बच्चे का आएगा, 40s का एज रहेगा तो middle school का आएगा. If you are in your 50s, then you will start getting college advertisements. It is because of inferential profiling. So you give context and background. That is very important. A prompt without context will lead you nowhere. Next, format. Next is format. You always give the format in which you want the output. So if you want bullet, if you want table, if you want graph, if you want JSON, if you want a VB script, you have to tell it that I want a JSON file, I want a VB script file. And mind you, there are very less things which AI can't do. There are no wrong answers. With my experience of 2 years of AI, I'm only 2 years old in this AI journey. I may look old. No, I that way also look old. I'm not that old. I'm younger to our young and dashing Dayabhai. Though I have lost all my hair, I have to ask him what is the secret, he has it. Of course, knowing Priti Bhabi, she is very sweet. Yes, so format. You state the format. What is the format of the output you want? And the fourth point that I would tell is called as persona. Not as persona, role. See, say if I want to ask, and this is a very common example which I give. Say if I want to ask, what is the projected inflation rate in this country for the next 2 quarters? What is the projected inflation rate in this country for next 2 quarters? Simple question which all of us may ask to do financial planning. Now this is one question. If I want to color it with a persona, what is the persona I'll give? Consider yourself as a professor of economics with 20 years of experience working in so-and-so university, whichever is the largest university in your jurisdiction. Working in so-and-so university. Now what will happen by writing this prompt? The moment you write it, the AI engine will upload all the knowledge base which a professor with 20 years of experience should have. So the answer that you will be getting, that will be relevant and contextual to professor grade information. And if you don't understand the answer, if the answer comes too technical, another prompt, simplify it as if I am a school kid. That is why no sharing of passwords. Otherwise the person with whom you share, he or she will know that you are trying to act as a school kid for understanding, and they'll start judging. So these 4 points. I told you I'll give you 2 more. One is called as tone. Tone. Say if you want to write an email, the tone, writing to your boss, writing to your staff, it has to be different. Writing to your boss, so you say, you specify the tone. I am writing to the board. I am writing to the vendor. You can say, I want to be polite and firm. I don't want to use negative words. Sharper your prompts, better your answers. Okay? So, tone. And the 6th one, I'm so sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I can forget. I'm entitled to forget. Am I not? If I'll remember, I'll tell you. I can't get it. क्या था यार, भूल कैसे गया? इतनी बार बोला है. Huh? Yeah, AI will help me, but then AI is not a replacement of human mind. Hanji? Grammar? No. If I open the forum, instead of 6, I'll be having 60. So grammar is not there, that I'm sure. Yeah, anyways. So, it is instruction, background, format, persona, tone. 5 I've told. Let us stick with 5. Okay. These are the 5 things which will strengthen your prompt. I understand we have little bit on guardrails, but I see the clock ticking fast, my phone ringing twice. Essentials of prompt constraint. If you want, I'll share the presentation with you. You can read it at ease. No need to take photographs. I'll be sharing it with the branch. It can be shared. Nothing is copyrighted. All information is there on the internet. Structured prompting. Yeah, it's okay. So if you set those boundaries, if you set the authority limit, if you set the escalation rules, then your AI will always give right answers, correct answers, and acceptable answers. In fact, a good example of apt AI is one which refuses and says, I don't know, rather than an AI which answers everything under the sun. If you remember, our Daya sir told that we did a investigation for one of the largest group. For that we created an AI agent. We created an AI agent. अरे इतना जल्दी भेज देना है क्या? We created an AI agent. I did not press anything, huh? You can see my hands. It's okay. So, yeah, listen to me, don't look at it. There's no interest in that. हो गया अभी जो होना था. Yeah. So I was telling we created AI agents. We added 300 GB of data. 300 GB of data. 85,000 artifacts. So an evidence is called as artifact. 85,000 artifacts. Of course, we bought a professional license and we bought this and that because data privacy and data security and all those. I mean, personally, if you ask me, I believe data privacy and data security is a myth. There is nothing like private. In your bedrooms, you have Alexa and Siri. What is private? See, I have some very fundamental logical questions. Abhi peela lal kuch bhi hoga, I'll finish. Okay, so I have some fundamental logical questions. If Alexa is not listening all the time, if, I put a word if Alexa is not listening to you all the time, how does it listen when you call Alexa? It has to have that listening capability. Otherwise, how does it listen when you call Alexa? And mind you, there is a case in Australia where court ordered Amazon to share their data and a murder case was solved by hearing to Alexa. So if you ask me, there is nothing called as private. But yes, we did follow all the privacy rules. And see, for me, without taking name of the large technology firm, we should, and as consultants, we should bank on their end user license agreement, EULA. See, if you use ChatGPT enterprise grade and they are telling we don't share your data, you agree, we don't share your data, correct? If a company like ChatGPT will not lie. A company like Microsoft, if it is telling that your data is not used, we agree it is not used. Why do we have to fight? So, bank on the end user license agreement. I understand this is end of my time. If you have any questions, I am open to that, subject to time availability from the moderator. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. I enjoyed delivering this session. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Can you elaborate on that fear that human has on the artificial intelligence and segregate that, there's no need of fear or that, that they are...
Sir, fear as in?
As if that artificial intelligence will replace the...
Sir, artificial intelligence cannot replace. You start using artificial intelligence, after using it for 2 months, you will realize that artificial intelligence is too short and too dumb to replace anyone. The more you practice, the more you will realize. So, in my first year of learning, I am a staunch believer that you should pay only then you receive good service. So, you should have you should have the pocket to buy products. Services are not cheap. I mean, good things are not cheap, cheap things are not good. I don't know why I believe that. As a consultant also, I have this feeling. So, what did I do? I bought products more than 100,000 Indian rupees to test. Now, initially, when I used, I was in awe with every product. Arey, it is so good. It is reducing efforts. It's giving wonderful results. But after 5th time, I told, oh, there are 5 templates. I have used all 5. Now, 6th time, I can't use the same presentation. So, I used to prepare my presentations for 15 days, considering the frequency at which I give. So, in 15 days, all the templates were exhausted. So, I had to go back to my tradition. Yes, it does help. It helps me to brainstorm. It helps me to get points. It helps me to contain my thought. But it is not a replacement. It is not a replacement to human intelligence. And the more you'll use it, you will realize it yourself. I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah. Good afternoon. I just
the last one, huh?
Yeah, last one.
Yes.
I just need your help to identify me. I'll give you a live cases where I see AI in use. Like when you book for the air tickets, automatically the pricing up and down, and depending upon the demand and supply, the pricing keeps affecting it. What they're using, that's number one. Number two is the auto algo trading.
Auto upgrade.
Algo trading, algorithm trading we are doing normally. They put a software, buy at certain price and sell at certain price. What they are using. So I know about these, but I don't know how to fix it because I have certain cases in my company which I need to fix up, like these. So help me identify what they are doing and how I can do these things in my company. Thank you.
2 parts answer to your question.
Yep.
The first part, what they are doing, I need to understand a little bit more. So AI has multiple layers. AI has multiple layers. Now when you say algo trading, the usage of AI can be for something like sentiment analysis. So the past 15 days information in public domain, whether the information is positive or negative or neutral about the company, will be analyzed. Based on that, a forecast will be given for the pricing.
Okay.
That is a simple example that comes to my mind when you ask.
Okay.
For the second part that you said, you have certain cases which you want to use in your company. I was putting my logo on all my slides. We have a consulting arm as well, sir.
Okay.
So I'll request you to meet me for coffee.
No, I take your point. I'm not asking you the solution, but I'm wanting to know, is it AI or is it an automation? I need to speak to IT person, or I need to speak to algo person, I need to speak to an AI agent.
Sir,
where should I go?
Sir, first you need to speak to a domain expert to know the solution. Sir, I'll tell you, as professionals, we should not chase technology, we should chase solutions. We are not technology experts. Our race is not with engineers. Please understand. We are solution experts. First of all, you should know what is the data, what should be the logic, and what is the output. If you know this, then we can decide whether robotic process automation is needed, whether contextual analysis of unstructured data is needed, so you need to go to an AI expert, or whether this can be done simply by buying a $30 per month license cost of Copilot Studio.
Okay.
It totally depends on what is the solution that you want.
Okay, and typically if I ask you the same question again, what airlines is doing when we buy the tickets is they change the pricing. Is it the program written which is being done, or is it something they have put a...
So there are multiple facets to that. So there's something called as cookies.
Yeah.
There's something called as cookies. Whenever you access a website, they have your, as I said, inferential profiling. They have the cookie. You have searched for a flight from Dubai to London.
Yes.
And you have searched that for 3 times.
Yeah.
So then the cookie understands that you want to go to London.
Yeah.
So they increase the price by $50. It's not going to affect you. $50, every customer to them is going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is one technology which is used. Other than that, I will have to study, sir. I'm not aware.
Okay, fine.
For a particular industry, I'm not aware.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Durgesh Bhai, for that intellectually stimulating and extremely insightful session. Can we have a special round of applause for Durgesh Bhai? With the clarity, the way you connected, sir, the technology with the forensic thinking assurance was truly enriching for all of us. And on behalf of the ICI Dubai chapter, I request CA Jay Prakash Agarwal and along with that CA Balram and one of our members, CA Manish Bodiwala ji, on the stage to present a memento to Durgesh Bhai. Can we have again a huge round of applause for Durgesh? Thank you once again, Durgesh, for that wonderful session. And now we move to our next sessions, which focus on a very practical and the relevant aspect of today's professional environment: documentation, digitizations, and the compliance, and how technology can help us to remain both compliant and the cost effective. To formally introduce our next speaker, I would like to invite on the stage the Amitabh Bachchan of our committee, none other than CA Sanjay Gagrani on this stage. Can we have a huge round of applause for CA Sanjay Gagrani?
Today, everyone is talking about AI, artificial intelligence. We all know in ICI already is inbuilt, right? Over a decade, we have seen AI is all about audit intelligence, applied intelligence, analytical intelligence. When they sir told about DISA course, sir, I remember my story. I was one of the first students who qualified DISA in 2003. When the course was launched in 2002, and believe me, that was the only differentiator when I got a job in Dubai. So let's give a round of applause to our temple, our parent body, the ICI, for this forward vision, forward looking. Give it a thundering round of applause to our ICI body of India chapter as well. So, speaker came and talked about technologies, AI. Technology is there, but what is the basis of that? How it's going to work? The core is data. And from where data will come? Documents. No document, no data, no data, no AI. And that's where precisely the next speaker will talk about. The respected chief guest, esteemed speakers, members, namaskar and salam. We are truly living in an era where automation are now writing up poetry and songs, but when it comes to the audit, tax review, inspection, the question comes very relevant, sir, supporting document kahan hai? And still many organizations struggle for that, not because of lack of system, they have all world-class system, but due to inadequate governance, how to keep the documentation properly. Weak version controls, poor audit trails. The next speaker and the topic will cover today so crucial for all of us as professionals, not from the theoretical standpoint, but also a practical perspective. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce Mr. Sevi Syriac, a seasoned business leader and digital transformation expert with over 22 years of experience in digitization, document management system, enterprise content management, and process automation. Sevi is a global director, business development at Cube Innovative Technologies, where he leads global initiative in helping organizations move from manual paper-driven processes to structured, compliant, and audit-ready digital ecosystem. He has successfully worked with organizations across 7 countries, supporting compliance across tax and regulatory frameworks. Beyond his corporate role, Sevi is also an active mentor with BNI and a strong supporter of professional and accounting bodies across the GCC 7 countries. His contributions have been recognized through awards such as Asia Pacific Excellence Award 2024 and International Summit Executive Award. So today he will share the insight on a topic where every CA can relate to, because for a CA, if it is not documented, not supported, it simply didn't happen. So respected member, please join me in giving a warm round of applause, Mr. Sevi Syriac.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me start with the CA itself. We all are chartered accountants here today, and how much time, effort we took, and we all value for time. Some of you are the CEOs of organizations. You closely work with the CEOs. You do a lot of budgeting. You do a lot of cost analysis. You might have reviewed your 2025 last month and planning for a great 2026 and a 5-year or a 10-year plan. We all are CFOs. We all work with a lot of documents. We have a big team under us. Who are they? The finance managers or a lot of accountants? What are they all doing on a daily basis? How much time are they all wasting on a daily basis? Is your office or your warehouses similar to that? Can you correlate something like this where your documents are stored, getting piled up? If you want to get something, you have to depend on somebody. How much time you're wasting to get that document? What if it was there on your fingertips? It might have just cost less than 5 fills, but when you wait for a document to reach from multiple levels or documents, multiple documents, it will cost you around 200 dirham, just one document. So if you can correlate from your own offices, this kind of box files and papers, that's where you sometimes have document controllers to manage that. Again, an overhead cost. We have auditing happening in every organization, internal auditing and external auditing. When an internal auditing or external auditing happens, what happens? The entire finance is busy saying that, hey vendors, my auditors are here, they're asking for that document plus this document. Why is that? They are spending a lot of time, internal auditors and external auditors. Correct? Are we wasting our time? Bookkeeping. We have a lot of chartered accountants today have organizations owned by them doing customers' bookkeeping. They have created folders and subfolders by year-wise, month-wise, and given access on drives. Because I was interacting with more than 200 audit chartered accountants in the last 6 months, and they were saying, I have a drive, shared drive, I've given access to my employees, and it's very difficult the way he scans or uploads it, getting documents via WhatsApp, getting documents from the customers via email. Not all the documents are there in the drive. How can you track, how can you monitor, how can you get rid of this pain area? So this is where we thought this is normal situation when an auditor goes to an organization. They spend a lot of their time because we all value for our time. Why do organizations store this? Because of the compliance, tax. When the tax was launched in UAE, it was told you have to store all your documents for 5 years. So how much space do you need to keep it for 5 years? Then it was not easy even for the tax authority to go back and check each and every page. So they amended the article number 5, 2 and B, saying that it's not mandatory that you have to submit physical. You can even submit electronic documents which has to be in a readable condition and the original one, not taking a printout from your ERP. Then again, recently, they upgraded that from 5 years to 7 years because you know the real estate cost. Somebody says 10 years to store, they will calculate 10 years into 5,000 square feet. How much are we going to spend? So then they amended that recently with 7 years. Then corporate tax came in. Again, same thing, mandatory to store your documents for 7 years, some institutions to store for 10 years, real estate to store for 15 years. Look at the space required for that. What are the documents? As of now, they talk about everything, including the bank statement, reconciliation, invoice, purchase or delivery notes, all the documents. E-invoicing coming in. Again, they are very specifically saying, you have to store your documents for 10 to 15 years. Are we going to again lose money in our organization? We are chartered accountants, we do the cost analysis, we have to bring down the cost of operation. Now just think about in your organization on a daily basis or a weekly, monthly basis, how much time your people, our own powerful chartered accountants, are wasting their time to get their documents. Is it less than 5 hours? Is it 5 to 10 hours? Is it 10 to 20 hours? Is it 20 hours or more than 20 hours? That means more than a cost of an employee. That means 30 to 40% of our own employees' productivity time is wasted on getting the documents. Was there a single day in your life where you didn't had a stress of not getting the document? Or you frustrated when you ask for a document, you're not getting in front of you because a client, your CEO, your chairman, your director, or an auditor may be sitting in front of you. No, we don't want to have that. How much time you get irritated and go back home and tell your wife or husband that I'm really irritated with my team. No, it's not because of them. It's because of so many other reasons. So hereafter in 2026, we have to take a decision. For us, time makes money. So let's not waste our time as chartered accountants. We have to move with the technology, a simple system. Today we talk about digitalization. Without digitizing, how are we going to talk about digitalization? So consultants, some of our chartered accountants are today works as a consultant. What is the best consultancy today you can go and give to your clients to do the basics, which is the digitization of documents, and you can really help them. How is that possible? Immediately after ERP or a financial system, that's something mandatory. Every organization today needs it, and everybody goes for it. But the day any person, any organization start their business, what is the first thing that they do is printing the first purchase order or a contract, and it starts piling up. How many purchase orders, how many invoices, how many delivery notes does your organization or your clients handle on a daily basis? How much space do you need for the next 5 years or 10 years where the real estate cost is going on high? Just do the calculation, you will find your ROI. Immediately after a ERP or a financial system implemented in any organization, the next step, first thing has to be done is to implement a powerful document management system with AI, without AI, which we will come into detail, because this is the basic thing that you need. Your documents has to be secure, your documents has to be available on your fingertips, it has to be set with all the security policies and with a lot of other functionalities and features. Which all departments you must implement document management system? I will say all, whether it's finance, HR, procurement, warehouse, QC, production, transport, admin, HR, doesn't matter. It's not only for physical documents. A lot of customers or people were asking me, is it only for physical documents? No. Document management system is not only for physical documents, it has to be for all your electronic documents as well, because managing that itself into shared drives and folders, local desktops, and people leaves, they don't know where it is being stored. A lot of people, data are missing, a lot of data are deleted. You will only come to know after 6 months or 1 year down the line when you really need it. That's where it comes into picture. So people can sit in the head office or anywhere in the world, in any branches across any region. They can all scan and upload it. If it's physical, electronically, it can directly browsed and attached. At the same time, if these documents are generated from your ERP or CRM or HRMS or warehouse management system, it can be automatically uploaded to the document management system, which helps you to search and retrieve the documents. Now, what is some of our customers, corporate customers, last year they took a decision, or in the last 2-3 years they took a decision to move their back office to any other country to cut down the cost of operation. So when you have all these documents, why should we need more people here? Can we bring down our cost of operation by 40%? Yes, you can easily have your back office anywhere in the world, because here your people looks at documents to validate and verify. These are all available in the system. You can easily have a proper system or back office system on the back end, which will help you. What is a document management system? Managing all your physical and electronic documents in a systematic manner. That's it. If you look into your different categories of document in finance department, you have around 35 to 40 categories of document. That is common till the end of your business. You have to create only once and ask everybody just to follow that. So how we help organizations, we are specialized into that. As Dayaji said, if you don't know, if you need a help, we are there to help over there. We started with 2-member team. Today, we operate from 7 countries with around 95 plus team members helping chartered accountants and finance department to archive all the physical and electronic documents in the finance. So our vision and mission is to help organization to go paperless. We are also ISO certified because we don't want to compromise on the quality of the services that we provide. And that's our specialization comes into picture. More than 50 to 100 plus chartered accountant ICA members are today our clients. I can see several known faces over here whom we helped over here. who came from the corporate sector. Then I moved to the retail sector, supermarket, hypermarket, distribution, etc. Then FMCG, they deal with thousands of documents on a daily basis. Then we moved to the financial sector from the banks, insurance, exchange, investment companies, healthcare sector, medical records digitization. Every owner of an hospital or a clinic have a dream to start a new division, but they don't have a space. Where is that space? We can give easily is from the medical records room, which is kept at the ideal location, which is at the ground floor or first floor. We can digitize and move that. That's where we are specialized into. Hospitals, pharmacies, construction, contracting, project documents, real estate documents, 15 years. And the other original contracts, they have to keep it for lifetime. Again, looking into the trading and distribution, electronic companies, chemical companies, tobacco companies, hospitality sector, all these are the multiple industries where we are catering, and in India we have a lot of clients like Lulu, Elite, Apollo, HCL, Biocon, Cinch. What of the solution? Or we deal with Condenver's document management system. It was launched in 1994 by a Chicago, Illinois-based company called Computing, and it's a 30-year-old product today. We were talking about the compliance like HIPAA, GDPR, SOX, CFR, ISO, and globally around 23,000 customers today use the same system, and we have clients from all industries and vertical. If you want to see a document from your ERP, the document will be available in the document management system, but when you click on a transaction, you want to see that, just click on your ERP, you will get it as a PDF document over there. If you want to get a set of documents which you want to directly get it from the document management system, that's also available because which is integrated with almost all the ERPs. We have integrated with SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, JD Edwards, even with Tally to pull the data, so that you can search and retrieve any document, including Focus. We have a direct office and presence across the GCC, and we are dealing with this for the last 20 years, and we are catering almost 35 plus industries and vertical. The structure is ready. The document types are ready with us because that's where our specialization comes into picture. So you can see some of the case studies over here. Western International, GPAS, Nesto, likewise it goes in. How many millions of documents, they are all storing the documents. You can see at the end, each and every industry, vertical, from insurance sector, painting sector, NFPC, BMA, Red Tag, Planet Pharmacy. I've taken one example, one use case examples from some of the industries. And Brother International, you know them. They only import documents and import machineries and then distribute it to their distributors. They were getting a bunch of documents, they were printing it and keeping it in their Jebel office. And when we were selling the scanners, one of the CEO called and said, "What do you guys do?" We said, "This is what we do. We help you to get rid of these papers." And gradually you can see they started using the system. The printing has reduced drastically. And today I think in the last year's report, they do around 27,000 pages only they print, which is mandatory required as per the statutory requirement. So we can all reach to that level because 80% of the documents that we print today, we are receiving it via email or electronically. Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to print it? Your printing and stationery cost, your box cost, your storage cost, office space cost. Can we bring it? This is where today we want to focus on. The ROI is 404% guaranteed. We ourselves give a report today, at end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the year. We give a report on the total number of amount as well as the documents that has been already uploaded into the system on a regular basis. So what we have a indexing tool. So one of the member was asking, what if it's a dot matrix paper? What if it's a thermal paper? No, that's where we are specialized. We have an OCR engine, as Jay said, invoice with the supporting documents, delivery note with the supporting documents, purchase order with the supporting documents. That's where we set the OCR to set no barcode, no QR code. If you have it, we integrated with that technology to capture that. And the rest of the values, what you see here, are coming from the ERP or HRMS or warehouse management system. So that tomorrow if you want to search on any of these parameters, you're going to get it. Because in a purchase order, there is no invoice, no delivery note, no payment voucher. Your payment vouchers and receipts numbers are all set over here. At the same time, what are we doing? We are also going to enter where it is being stored. We have a best practice that we implement along with our configuration, which you can see the metadata coming from the applications, respective applications, and the box number and pouch number, so that no more carton boxes. After scanning, it's put into a Ziploc and archived into a carton box. You can store into a remote location. When an authority needs it, when you search for a specific document, system will tell in which warehouse, in which carton box, in which pouch it exists. Before even you ask somebody, at least you know whether you have it or not. That's very important today to save. And how are we doing it? Putting into a pouch which is a 30 fields, rather putting into a 20 dirham, 10 dirham box file, and again utilizing your space. We have a lot of use cases. Earlier, this box file was occupying around 8 to 10 box files. Today, we accumulate around 35 to 40 box files in the same carton box. That means 90% of your current storage is being reduced. So smart line capture, which we spoke about today, AI and without AI. Durgesh was saying not everything is AI. Everybody needs AI today? Not necessary. Structured and unstructured data. If it's already a structured data, you don't need. We can do a machine learning. So this was one of our customer who was getting a statement of account from the retail sector. After 30, 60, 90 days, they get a SOA, statement of account, with around 1,800 to 2,800 line item. The staff used to sit and do it, validate one by one, because the payments are all millions. They want to validate it and they want to check that. It was taking almost 4 hours to 5 hours, which we incorporated a tool which is called the SmartLine Capture. To convert that PDF, you just need to get it on a PDF on your email. That's been converted to an Excel sheet, and then that is integrated within the ERP system or warehouse management system, consolidate, give you the report. This is from the SAP. You can see that it's from the SAP. And it consolidates with all the purchase orders, invoices, delivery notes, and say that which is matching, which is not matching, you get another report. So they have to just validate only that. And clicking over there, you can see the original document as well. And this has been completed in 1 minute. So 2,500 line items are completed in 30 plus 30, 60 seconds. That's where today we are helping organizations and CubeScan. Every organizations have their existing backlog documents, don't worry. And today, once you implement it, the next day onwards, you don't have to depend on the vendor. Your people can do it in 10 to 15 minutes. The whole documents that you're getting, whether it is 1,000 or 5,000 pages, half an hour to 1 hour, it will be available for lifetime. It's a one-time activity. That's where the tool that we give, that's the importance of backlog digitization. If you already have your existing documents, don't worry, don't stress it out. If you don't know how to do it, we are there to help you. We will deploy the manpower based on the project volume. We will deploy this kind of scanner. This is one of the scanner that we use for our high-end volume. This can scan 300,000 pages in a day. If it's front and back, around 500,000 images we can do. We did this for one of the projects for 44 million medical records in 1 year. So we can see live engineering drawings, construction contracting, real estate companies. We have big plotter scanners, which is 36-inch, 46-inch scanners available, readily available, because you don't have to procure it. It's a one-time activity. And we have even Well-Log scanners for Bapco in Bahrain, the oil and gas projects. So what doesn't matter? This is an unlimited page. It's around 5-meter sheet. You can see whether it's plastic sheet or paper, doesn't matter. We have a QC team. And this is another case study of 44 million project that we did in 1 year's time. We have a dedicated team for paper preparation, scanning, sorting, segregation, QC, indexing. Likewise, it can. This is another project from ASMAC. They were in Ajman, they were moving to DIC. The warehouse was full of documents. We digitized it and we put it into box files. This is another one. So likewise, we have multiple projects. When we do it, another project, how the documents were stored in the warehouse, 90% of their office space or storage space has been reduced. This is another use case for the entire division from UAE, Oman, UAE, Sharjah, DIC, and Abu Dhabi. The entire whole year data only occupies this much of space. Just calculate how much space we are all utilizing and calculate the real estate cost. And trading company, they joined with us journey when there were 6 outlets. Today they have 18 outlets, and look at how much they're saving, because that space is being utilized for a lot of other activities. Now this was another use case, 10,000 square feet. We finished around 7.5 million documents we digitized, and that space has been used for their warehouse for storing their day-to-day documents, and they made one extra office space in that space. Look at the ROI for that. And look at another big project that how we delivered. So they can sit anywhere in the world, even sit over here. You want to search for a specific document, use the mobile app. And search for your client, your customer, your vendor, your supplier, or invoice number, or if you don't know anything, you know even a content. You can search for the content and get that. Look at it, how easy, how much time are you all going to save your organization and employees' time. So this is for MR that we did it. So that's where we help organizations, where we are all working with papers, full of papers, handling on a daily basis. Do we really want to waste? So that you're auditing today. I know a lot of ICA members are auditors today. You have your own firm. If you're taking 15 to 20 days, and today the margin has come down drastically. Today, if you are taking 15 to 20 days to complete one auditing, we guarantee you, if you are properly managing your documents in a system like this, you can finish your auditing in 3 to 4 days. Physically, when we go, we may be able to even validate maybe 1,000 documents or set of documents. Here you can do even 10,000 documents at the same time, and your report can have that, which can give more value add to your organizations when you submit this report to your banks for further proceedings. So that's why we say we are here to help the entire ICA members to save your time, save your space, save your money. More than that, improve your employee productivity by 70 to 80%. So do we want to work hard? Because we know, we all say nobody leaves at 5:30. We all sit late evening, late night, sometimes sleepless nights, because we are working hard. Because we don't have the relevant documents. Data are there in the ERP, but sometimes we need the original document to be validated. And it's a one-time activity which takes less than 1 millisecond to do that activity, so that we want to be a smart people. This will, where you don't get it, you will get it. That's where we help you. Once again, I would love to thank Jay and team, ICA Dubai chapter members, to give this opportunity. And we are collaborating, currently we are associated with the entire Middle East ICA members, and that's where we learned it. Every presentation, they give ideas to transfer that to the ICA members to save your time and money. Once again, thanks a lot. Visit us, we have a stall here. We are a member, family member of yours. Anytime, any further questions, we are there to help you. Once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sebi Seriak, for that highly practical and the focused session. Your presentations clearly highlighted that how the structured documentation, digitizations, and the smart technology adoption can significantly improve compliance, efficiency, and the audit readiness. And with that, I would like to call upon our chairman, CA Jay Prakash Agarwal, along with that, our committee member, CA Sanjay Gagrani, and yes, one of our female members, CA Neetu Josh, on the stage to present a memento to Mr. Sebi Seriak. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Sebi? A louder one, please. Thank you, Mr. Sebi, once again, and thank you, Neetu, Anu, Chairman, and Sanjay Bhai, of course. So, members, we now move to our next session, which focuses on a very practical and evolving area, the e-invoicing and technology from a compliance and implementations perspective. As a regulatory requirements continue to evolve across jurisdictions, understanding the technology backbone behind e-invoicing has become extremely important for the professionals and businesses alike. And the next speaker is going to speak about that topic, and to formally introduce the next speaker, I would like to call upon the stage the dynamic and dashing member of our executive committee member, none other than CA Dikshit Jain. Can we have a huge round of applause for Dikshit Jain?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. That's good. You know what? The difference between us and the AI is that if I tell AI to be louder in good afternoon, it will be louder. But if I tell you, I have to ask you 2 times. Again, one more time. Good afternoon. Now that's it. You know, they say that AI will automate things. It will automate things. How many of you are using ChatGPT every day? How many of you use ChatGPT every day? You have to be honest, right? Everyone uses it. Am I right? Yes. AI has become one of the part of our life which has just been irreplaceable. They say that, adaptation is personal choice. It's not a personal choice anymore. You have to adapt it if you have to live, with the technology. So adaptation is not a personal choice. It has to be adapted. Now, today's session is very, very important for all of us because we are talking about technology, AI, and what all impact it is going to have in our lives. Because it has really impacted us in a different ways. And we have some very learned speakers who have talked about, how technology is, embedding in our lives every day, every work we do, and all of that. Now, the next speaker is going to talk about e-invoicing, how it is going to work with us. His name is Mr. Sangmesh Hiramath. He has more than 20 years of experience in business consulting and management. He is the co-founder of a company called Marmin Technology. Today, he's going to talk about the e-invoicing, how the technology works in the e-invoicing, because as they say, AI is smart, but e-invoicing is honest. It will never make you do wrong things, because every transaction you do using the e-invoicing, that will be recorded in the system of the government. So now no more invoices to be made just on the paper. Everything will be there in the system, the database of the government. So e-invoicing becomes a very, very critical part of it. And today we have a very learned speaker who is going to talk about that, how technology is going to get embedded in e-invoicing and how we are going to get more and more compliant in everyday's work. So without any delay, because we are already running late on the lunch, without any delay, I would like to call upon stage Mr. Sangmesh Hiramath with a very good and huge round of applause, please. A better one. Thank you.
Hello, audible, right? Good afternoon, everyone. Do you agree with me, e-invoicing is a hot topic today? I beg to differ. It is not a hot topic this month. Reasons? Sorry? No, year-end closing. Right? Which is the button which works? Right, thank you. Right, I represent Marmin Technologies. AI in this is more of a misnomer. There are reasons for it. We will discuss when you come down to our booth, and I'll explain why AI is partially true and not so true in our product. We are e-invoicing solution provider across 5 countries so far, and very soon in UAE also we will be a listed ASP. We're already in the final stages of it. These are different accreditations from different governments, cyber security related things, Saudi, Malaysia, PEPOL, Europe, right? Speaking about how many organizations we deal with, more than 1,000 global enterprises, e-invoicing live in 5 countries, 25 million invoices, electronic invoices processed annually, huge ticket size of them, and our technology stacks has capability of processing more than 12,000 invoices per minute. Right. Some of our customers, biggest of the brands, global brands, reason they do not have the local context and they sometimes prefer a local player to execute their local compliance. Right. CEOs, I read somewhere that every company is a technology company. Is this statement true? Will it be okay if I say every CEO has to be a technology CEO? Is it true? No? Yes, no? Every CFO has to be a technology person also. Slowly, all these definitions will start merging together, and every person in the organization is soon going to be hugely dependent on technology, and every person will be a technology person. Every person will be a technology person in the organization. So today, now, I have been very careful in deciding what not to speak about in this meeting, right, in this session. This I'll not speak about. Is it fine? This I'll not speak about. Now, situation in the market is like that if I'm assuming if I go in the market, somebody might catch and say me, sir, aap wo 5-corner model wale ho na? But I have prepared a response for it. मेरे तो 2 corner है, बाकी सब पराये हैं, right? These I'll not talk about. Everyone is aware about. In a way, I'm using this to educate you that is already there and you know it, and I'm also emphasizing that this is important. This is a scale of e-invoicing which is going to pan out in UAE very soon. So these are yearly e-invoicing document count, which is projected to be there, likely applicable from 2027 start, and every year these are the volumes which are expected. First year, 3 million invoices per day. Second year, 7 million. Third year, 8 million. And fourth year, 21 million. What do you think? What might change here? Absolutely. So this is our assumption. So far it is not mandatory, but very soon it will be. It is likely that once the adoption is good, it will become mandatory and businesses have to integrate. So they have to choose a partner in a way where who has capability of processing electronic invoices at that scale, right? So the session here is more on giving a technical perspective on how to implement, how to make sure you as a chartered accountant or CFO can tell to your technology person, gaadi ab tera bhai chalayega, right? You will be tech savvy enough, you will be aware enough so that while the technology context is being built in e-invoicing, you have enough ground in the technical aspect of implementing e-invoicing. So currently, 90+ countries have implemented or implementing e-invoicing some format. 30 to 40+ countries are using the PEPOL framework. PEPOL framework has come from the same country which gave us the SWIFT framework. Everybody is aware SWIFT? Day in, day out, right? Similarly, the way SWIFT is used for money transfer, PayPal is used for document transfer. Belgium. So it came from Belgium, right? Yeah, there are new initiatives happening in other countries. Malaysia started with electronic invoicing to be mandated, but within a span of 1.5 years, they said, send me purchase order also and send me delivery challans also. For this, we already have evidence from India. They collect delivery challans for every delivery. So once you are on PayPal network, it is pertinent, it is likely that it will happen, right? There is a project running in Europe in which pre-purchase order documents are also being integrated over PayPal. Tender documents, bids, decisions, who is winning. So the whole P2P cycle from the AP side and AR side is getting integrated. All right. Another thing which is new is tax data reporting. Buyer and sellers both are reporting their tax data through the ASPs for every transaction. So if you are considering 105 on the buy side, on the other side 105 is also reaching the tax authority in a very decentralized manner, right? The record keeping is happening continuously, transaction by transaction for each transaction. What has to be the readiness, right? There are many gap assessments running, but what if we do a gap assessment today? We finalize on the approach for the duration of the project along with the information available for that project during that time. In Saudi Arabia, the tax authorities software development kit SDK has gone under 40 revisions, 40 updates, I would say, not revisions, updates. So same might happen today. Just last week, there was a new update released on the tax data document to be transmitted, and along with a new test bed in which the provider has to test and make sure that he is ready with that level of compatibility, right? In some countries, for example, in Saudi Arabia, the decision was there that businesses can integrate directly with the tax authority, or they can use a provider who is having this capability in the market. But in UAE, it is clear. You have to use a provider who has this capability in market. You cannot integrate directly, right? This is where the decision of can I build on my own has to be ruled out. So if your leadership or if your technology team is thinking we will build it on our own, please stop them. It's going to be a very inefficient way of spending for this initiative, right? After e-invoicing is done, it is not going to be a plug and play model of operation. It will keep changing. Rules will be updated regularly, and your businesses should be clear enough that, okay, there is an implementation of change has to be done. Make sure the end user is aware of it, and from next time onwards, he creates an invoice which is as per that new update in the regulation, right? So that's one thing. Another thing, repeatedly I get this question from the market saying that now interoperable, how many of us understand the term interoperability? Clear, not clear? Which means if I use ERP, let me take an example, Microsoft Dynamics. I create a document in my system, I sales invoice in my system. It will be delivered to your ERP if you are using Zoho, Tally or whatever. So there is interoperability, not only at the regional country level, at the global level also. So if I'm using Tally here and somebody else in US is using Microsoft Dynamics, there is compatibility between the documents, it gets delivered to them the moment you release the document from here, right? This is what is happening. So global trade is going to happen over a network. As of today, there is one single network which is PayPal, which is coming up very strongly. And as I said, 30, 40 plus countries are implementing this. Right? Yeah. Another aspect, while ERPs have been implemented for such a long time, no one is seeing how the data is being created. Right? One material code being used multiple times, or one material existing in multiple codes. How do you do spend analysis? How do you do category classification? all those scenarios have to be well understood and made sure that each of these records are unique, right? So it's not about only addressing the technology part in terms of data, in terms of integration. There are many aspects. Every organization faces the challenge of dealing with multiple teams. There is internal friction everywhere. Who decides what has to be sent? Who decides what has to be signed off? You go to a technology team and say, sign this off, they say, ये मेरा decision नहीं, ये तो finance वाले का है, what has to be sent. Finance says, I'm not the data owner. Go to IT. These things will be changed, these things will be faced by every implementation team, right? Execution. Execution is a big challenge. As we say, complexity of business is only known once you enter into the business. The regulation speaks about certain standards. The process is individual to the company. How a hospitality sector invoicing works in comparison to an airline industry, it will completely differ. But all of them have to follow a common standard of transmission. So you are that people sitting in between that process, saying that, is transaction ke liye it has to be this tax code, right? But you are going to be only a recommendation team. You are going to recommend it. Who is the person who is going to decide? It is from the team itself. So you have to be clear enough in making them understand that for this particular transaction, this is how you have to transmit data. There are many ERPs in the market which does not even have capability of adding those 50 mandatory fields. I hope everybody is aware that there are 50 mandatory fields in an electronic invoice, which is expected from UAE tax authority, right? Make sure that you have technology ready, finance ready, process ready, decision-making skills ready team in your organization where you can execute this with the fastest pace possible. So far, 12 players are listed in the market. I am hopeful with the time available, by the time the deadline is coming, another 20, 30 players might come in. But then again, it is very small number to cater to the big market and the timelines and deadlines which have to be met. Each implementation on the AR side itself might take 3 months, but there is on the other side, AP side of it. When you're receiving a document from your supplier, you have a choice to approve it, not approve it, send it to your posting of accounts, or you reject it so that it doesn't happen, or if the supplier is not responding, should you post it as a credit note or what, right? This is a technology session. You are going to be the finance person in the team, but this gives you a picture of what sort of implementation you have to do. High effort, high cost, low effort, low cost, and which option to select. So if a supplier is coming to you and saying, okay, we will go for this option and we'll charge this much, you clearly know how much is the effort involved in that, right? We give you that clarity. Clear? Great. So with this, we understand it's going to be a continuous change of regulations, update of requirements, update of specifications. You as a tax person, you as a VAT person, you as a finance person should be aware to quickly implement these in your organization. Direct your technology team to understand this. What we have seen is many technology people do not understand finance. Many finance people do not know what to instruct to technology people to what to be implemented. While debit and credit might be clearly visible in your mind, but they do not understand the plus and minus of things, right? These are some of the questions which many of our implementation users who are part of the implementation, they ask. Some companies, they felt that the implementation is done, and they never knew that the invoices were not getting transmitted to the tax authority. They're completely immune to what's happening at the accountant level. They do not know. Some companies felt they have implemented it, but the transmission of document never went to the tax authority. Tax authority comes back with a notice, why are you not sending the document? They say, we felt we had done the implementation, our supplier told it, right? So you have to depend more on your supplier, but make sure you are clear enough that whether the transmission is happening or not, you get it verified in some way, right? Now that the B2B and B2C is not going parallel in terms of implementation, how will your VAT report look like? some data getting populated from the e-invoice data, and there is some data which is lying into your transactional data. You have to sit and consolidate and then say, अच्छा इसमें कितना recoverable है, कौन सा recoverable नहीं है, right? How do you arrive at that conclusion? You need to have that level of automation. Teams face a lot of challenge in filing their VAT report even after e-invoicing. Oman has decided on the other way. They say B2B, B2C and B2G, all we will go together, which means their VAT report has everything in one place. But here you will have to refer something on from your ERP, something on your e-invoicing data, merge it, consolidate and file. It will make your task little easier, but then again, it is again, you know, kind of who will be that person responsible who is matching figures? System or person, right? Somebody has to sign it off. So that's where you have to be preparing yourself. Accounts payable side, right? Many suppliers say, I have sent you the invoice, you have not paid it, its due date is passed, so many days happened, so many days outstanding. But now what will happen once a supplier sends you an invoice, it will land into your ERP. You can't say, I did not receive the invoice anymore now. Supplier has a copy which has been sent to FTA. You as a buyer has a copy which has been received by you. You can't say, I have not received it. It's lying in the system. So how does your existing accounts payable process get impacted? Imagine that all invoices get landed into your system and you have to process them based on the due date. Who is having that cash forecasting or cash availability based on this scenario, right? Earlier, how you were waiting, the moment the system used to receive an invoice, that is when you start calculating that. Something which is lying on the table is still lying on the table. That is gone. It might happen that based on the payment terms, you need additional cash for these 30, 60 days because now everything is online. Correct? Then, one scenario in Saudi Arabia which we face, our customer faced, accountant is responsible for generating e-invoices, and whenever an invoice is getting rejected, we show that in red color. We mark it saying that this was rejected. And because the rules and regulations are so rigid and this person is not so much aware of how the e-invoicing regulation works, he felt he has done a violation. बोला मुझे पकड़ा तो नहीं लेगा, right? This is the fear also of regulation, right? Because he is the one who is creating e-invoice. Management thinks he has done everything, he has to do everything, he should be responsible. But does he have that risk mitigation understanding? No, ये तो बस transactional है, this is not a violation. So these challenges also will be faced by users who are not well aware, right? In Saudi Arabia, there is one more example. All invoices have to be transmitted in PDF A3 format. How many of you are thinking that PDF A3 is a paper size of A3? No, it is not. It is an encoding mechanism in which you cannot modify a PDF. If a PDF is going, it cannot be modified. If you remember now, someone sends you a document for signature, you go to Adobe and you add your signature and add your number, date and everything and send it across. That is what you cannot do. You cannot tamper with that PDF. That enforcement might come here also, right? Those specifications, those regulations, those updates will keep evolving. Please be aware of that and make sure while you're doing your analysis in your organization, the teams are well educated. You should not be relying and implementing a system which is based on certain past understanding and you are actually building actually an old system which might not work, right? Great. With that, we have time for 5 more minutes to ask questions. Any implementation related? I personally have done more than 200 implementations, so business scenarios I'm aware of. Please, go ahead. Any questions? Please. I mean, somebody please mic or no mic.
Any questions? Yeah.
Thank you very much for the session. I have a question, like the first tranche is 50 million of the turnover, okay, and B2C transactions are excluded. Now my question is, if an organization is having only B2C supplies, but it falls in the 50 million turnover criteria, how would that be implemented? And second thing is, like we have the 5 people's network, wherein there is a buyer initiating the seller initiating the invoice, the ASP generating the required XML file, sending it to the buyer's ASP, then buyer's ASP validating it and sending it to the FTA, right? Now, when export transaction, would it be an auto approval mode? And how will that, because the approval timeline is 24 hours, if I'm correct? No. Okay, so you throw light on this topic, please.
Okay, approval time is immediate, and every document has a SLA of 10 minutes, and it has to be approved by the system within 10 minutes, or else it has to be completely reversed. Reversed in the sense, FTA, the copy they have received, it has to be reversed. The buyer, the copy they have received, it has to be reversed, and the transaction you have done, that has to be reversed, right? Because every successful document is a VAT liability to somebody when it is given to FTA, right? This is on that part. Second is, you spoke about B2B and B2C. If you are a business more than 50 million, let's assume, and your transactions are for 49 million B2C and 1 million for B2B, you fall under this deadline, and you have to integrate the B2B part of invoices to the FTA. Absolutely. That's what we spoke about, right? VAT report, when you're filing, you have actually some data relying on your ERP, some data relying on e-invoicing, which is auto-populated, right? I think somebody had another question.
How does it work for agents, where we are registering invoice on behalf of the principals? So there is a risk, or there is a challenge that the invoices will be registered in 2 places. The invoices which are addressed directly to the principals, and there are some invoices addressed to the agents, but it is on behalf of the principal, so it doesn't fall into my transaction registration number.
I'll give you an example from Saudi Arabia. So in Saudi Arabia, it is mandatory that if you are doing a third-party invoicing, you should actually have an agreement between the principal. And you have to submit this agreement to the tax authority, saying that as an agent, I'll start invoicing and the principal will not do. And you, in this scenario, start creating on behalf or self-billed invoicing, right? This is the prevalent thing. In Malaysia also same, if you are creating self-billed invoices, it is mandatory for the other party to not create it. Otherwise, it will act as a duplicate. And then again, you record the invoice in your invoice number, and the one he generates, if it doesn't match, it is double taxation.
There are 2 different types of invoices. Certain types of invoices comes to the agent, and certain types of invoices goes to the owner directly.
Absolutely.
So then it is still possible. How is that?
It will be possible, because there is already a scenario mapped as third-party invoicing in the standard scenario itself. If you refer to the Ministry of Finance document, in which they have given 16 scenarios, one of that is this scenario, right? This is available. Yeah, please.
Hi, Sangmesh. I have one question. Like, we are a firm which is like having revenue size around 50 million. And for that, in that perspective, in your C5 model, like how much time it will take for the API integration for the firm? And second question, I will connect with this, that from your ASP, when it will be routed to the FTA, so how much time FTA will take to authenticate that this invoice is a legitimate invoice?
If everybody's servers are working properly, this is a 2-second transaction. I send it, but the opposite side server is down, then I had to simply wait. That is one thing. Secondly, B2C transaction, this is a common question. What happens in case of B2C? What happens to 5-corner model? In that scenario, corner 4 and corner 3 will be deactivated. You don't have to transmit to them. No verification from the other side. It will be from your sales register to your ASP, from that to C5, tax authority, that's all. It gets notified as successful. That's all. Right? Thank you everybody.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sangmesh, for your highly informative. Please, I request you to please be on the stage. And on behalf of the ICAI Dubai chapter, we sincerely thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience with our members. And with that, I would like to call upon our chairman, CA Jaiprakash Agarwal, along with that CA Dikshit Jain on the stage, and one of our members, CA Rameshwar Rathiji on the stage, to present a memento on behalf of all of us. Can we have a thunderous round of applause for Sangmesh Hirmath? Thank you once again, Rameshwar Rathiji, and of course our speaker, Sangmesh. And friends and members, we now come to the final technical sessions of today's technical summit. This session will bring together the data, analytics, and the artificial intelligence, and show us that the AI-enabled analytics is redefining audit, finance, and assurance, and moving the profession from the traditional compliance to deeper insight and smarter decision. To formally introduce our final speaker of today's event, it gives me the great pleasure to invite on the stage the executive committee member, the calm and cool Vijay Mohan on the stage. Can we have a huge round of applause for Vijay Bhai?
Good afternoon. I know this session would be interesting for all our auditors because we are talking about AI and audit, and AI can be used as an assurance tool to do the audit more effectively. And as we all know that the future of audit and finance is being shaped not by more rules, but better use of the data and analytics. We live in a fast-paced, data-driven world, yet often struggle to convert the data into reliable and timely insights. This is why today's session, Turning Data into Assurance, is of utmost importance. Leading this session, CA Anand Prakash Jankit, known for his engaging talks and his ability to simplify complex technologies, making advanced concepts accessible to finance and audit professionals. With hands-on experience in applying AI-enabled analytics to audit, risk, and compliance, he brings a practical, real-world perspective on how data and AI are already redefining the assurance. A chartered accountant and CISA, Anand serves as the managing partner of AJA and chief change agent of AJA Labs.ai, where he drives technology-led innovation across India, North America, and Japan. And he is, just for your information, he just joined at 11 o'clock and he just ran from the airport to do a session for us. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Anand.
So you know what kind of problem is this? What happened just now? No. This is called picnic problem, actually. When I used to be working in Infosys, we used to have a classification of a problem. We used to call it problem in chair, not in computer. So the technology is okay. I have not switched it on and I'm expecting it to work. So it's actually a classification of picnic problem. So guys, I am between you and your lunch. So I was talking to Jay Bhai, 25 minutes flat. Okay, we'll fix it up. We'll not go into all of that regular gyan. All of you know a lot about this. People are talking AI will do this, that, and all thing. I thought today's discussion, we'll try to talk on only 3 parts. Actually, the demo part, I'm just leaving it up because we are a little short of time, but nevertheless, the first is check-in. How we can leverage, you guys are all finance and audit leaders. As leaders, where can we leverage it up? See, the problem, I'll tell you, this is the biggest thing. Very interesting problem statement we are having right now. We are not having use cases. People are not having use cases. Bahut acha hai. But you need to also understand, I'll be taking you through that. Generative AI, which is just one part of that, ChatGPT cannot solve all our problem. It can solve one part of that thing. It cannot solve all of the thing. You need to understand the bigger spectrum which is there and see how we can do that. And then we'll try to see some examples. I'll try to see how we can take it up. This is actually my starting slide. I really wanted to talk about this because I always hear this word every place is data is the new oil. You know what is lacking today is refineries. Crude is not valuable unless you refine it. Finance and audit function. If you try to see this, these are the two functions who always try to make insight for the organizations. Have you seen, we always try to talk about this is my EBITDA, this is what is that, working it out. Don't you think somewhere it becomes very important that we do understand what it is going on? There is a bigger problem right now in every organization, and I'm actually telling you this. Today, when you guys go back, if there is one new term you thought you have learned from today's discussion, I want you to Google a term, dark data. Dark data. Search this term. Read about this. 2026, this is the biggest business problem organizations are trying to solve. If you can solve it, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. What is this dark data? Organizations are collecting data at a big, unprecedented, level. Have you seen, for everything we want to keep it in our ERP systems, data lakes, everywhere. Are we making sense out of that? What BCG published a very interesting report recently. They said 40% of your organization data, including if you are a practicing chartered accountant, 40% in every organization on average is dark data. You have this data, you don't even know this data is there, you don't know how to use this data, you are just collecting for the sake of this, it's just lying out there. What I wanted to tell you is, can we think of, if you see my topic, I was very clear, I said AI enabled. I'm not saying it's just AI is going to solve everything. If you really want to understand, personally, AI is not artificial intelligence for the future. If you guys as a professional who are sitting in this room, we should be thinking of augmented intelligence, human machines together. Because the business context which we have, you remember just Mr. Hiramet gave a very nice talk, and he said many times there are tech guys who don't understand finance and there are finance guys who don't understand tech. Context. My thought process is, can we move from, most of the time, this is kind of thing, I know ICOFR is coming here and a lot of talks going on. Can we move from the concept of only control assurance, control testing, to somewhere we can have cognitive governance? See, if audit needs the appreciation from the management, we need to add value. The same thing again and again, if we try to keep on doing it, just the risk control metrics and testing and all that kind of thing, it's not going to add the value which we are looking for. And that calls for what I was trying to tell you. This is one of the examples I love to give every time. I don't know how many of you are into chess. Anyone here on chess.com rapid ranking? Okay, one person in the whole class. Okay, what's your ranking, sir? Oh, I am better than you then. I have a better ranking actually right now, okay? Now, in chess, we always used to have this debate, always. This is the kind of thing. I was, member of Karnataka Chess Association. We used to always have it. 1997 was the kind of interesting number which happened. Human lost to machine. At Karnataka Chess Association, it was in Malleshwaram, Bangalore, we used to have our meeting. And every meeting after that, we used to have dinner. That day, no dinner was served. It was like a Shok Sabha kind of situation that, oh, we lost to machine. How could human lost to machine? Fast forward, 2024. If you have seen Magnus Carlsen losing to Gukesh, there was a very interesting, if you go and check it up on news.google, there is a very interesting interview which was published where he said, how did you lose? And he said, I didn't get time to basically train with my AI. Chess.com has an AI which is made particularly for him to practice out there. Are you seeing it is not no more human versus machine, it's an augmented intelligence, human and machine together. And that is leading to a different kind of genesis out here. See, I'll tell you something very interesting. Every technology goes through a cycle. Have you heard about something called as Gartner hype cycle? Google it out. It's like they say every technology will have first an emerging tech. Like right now you have, e-invoicing coming here. It's an emerging tech. It's like people are thinking, okay, this is the first time we are doing it, it's going to that. Then there is going to be a premiumization of that one. It's actually happening with every technology. If you go through Gartner hype cycle, you understand. And at the third level, it becomes a commodity. It becomes a commodity which like everyone uses without thinking twice. You would have seen this happening in multiple places. E-gates, initially it was a great thing, metros, and technologies across the thing. I'm just telling you, this is like a common thing. I want to tell you something more interesting. A very interesting report is World Economic Forum Future of Job Report. You try to see that one. It's a very interesting report because same thing what I've shown you on emerging, premiumization, and commoditization, it's actually is happening with professionals also. It's a little old report, 2020. There is 2 more additional report, 2023 and 25. Google it out. It's widely available. I will not go with what I'm saying. I just took one extract of that. It says the premium of many jobs will change in next few years. Can you see that there are areas which they said 2035 decreasing demand? Can you see these are the areas which are decreasing demand? But what are the areas which are coming? The source is, I have mentioned the source in the down. You can actually Google it out from that source. What areas are coming up are this. The first one is on data analysis, because there is so much of data getting generated in the world. People don't know how can we make sense of this data. And with all due respect, tech folks don't understand that because they don't have one thing which as chartered accountant we have it very well. That is the business understanding. I teach at IIM Bangalore, so a lot of time earlier I used to think we are very good at one area, which is like, my thought process earlier was analytical thinking. But the moment I started teaching all this, IITians coming up in IIM, I think analytical, they are much better. But one thing which is our superpower, which we have, they don't have, is business knowledge. Each of you know your client business better than sometimes the client himself. And that adds a lot of value. So understanding of this has also changed this one. This slide took me some time to make. What is the common between all these names which you are seeing out here? This is what we call democratization of data economy. Each of the tools which you are seeing it on here are all open source. And what it is making it is making each one of us sitting in this room capable of handling it up, which is no more a kind of a black box. Each of this technology, I don't know if you have using, if you are using Netflix, actually on the back end, the whole system works on MongoDB. It's an open source technology. It doesn't cost you a bomb. What has happened is, of late, what you should understand, it's a very interesting thing. This ecosystem has created, I would say you should try it out, some of you, because it costs nothing. And it gives you so much of power in your hand that if Netflix is using it, I think something is good out there, right? Don't you think so that? And that part leaves for us to deal with the large volume of data, the dark data, everything. You get a better understanding and thought process. And AI, which is the other part. So I wanted to give you 2 things. I'm trying to bring a kind of a convergence between the AI, which is right now what we see, and the kind of open source ecosystem which is out there. Both of them create a kind of environment for us which really gives you a better control over what's happening, what you can do with the data. I would say the kind of thought process which you can actually enable with this is really abundant. You can't even just imagine out there. And the mapping, this evolution which has happened with this data is something very interesting. This slide took me, it doesn't look very attractive. I made it very texty because I was actually working on this slide in the flight. This is the kind of thing, the data science in audit, I would say generation. Right now we are in 5th generation. A lot of people, when I talk to them, they say, yeah, data science is important, we are doing it. You may be in the 1st generation of that. What is that 1st generation? Excel, VBA, they are like 1st generation. Macros, scripts. Their maturity level is traditional, emerging areas. Benefit is low cost automation. Challenges, it doesn't scale up. Adoption, 80% of the organizations are doing it. But this is, can anyone tell me, it's a trivia question. You get it right, dinner is on me. Without Googling, huh? Without Googling. So I'll just ask you in second and in 1 second, okay? Can you tell me which year macros came in Excel? Okay, so we, by this time someone have Googled it up. It was 97. Before that, it was not a proper macro, which is there. 97 is which year we are right now today? Don't you think it has come a long, long way? We are still like stuck to that. And if you go back, when was spreadsheet discovered? It was 85, 86, something around that time, the concept of spreadsheet came it up. Don't you think, you know, how many of you are still comfortable to take the push button phone right now? Technology has moved. We are still actually stuck with that thing. Second generation was more on basic SQL dashboarding, Power BI. It's actually not an analytics tool. I always say that. It's a data visualization tool. You need to understand there is no data wrangling happen. That is the second generations which happened. Then came the third generation where people went autonomous. Like they started saying, okay, we'll have multiple dashboard. Like, I don't know, have you seen this NASA's control room with multiple things and all things? It's a moonshot, amazing thing with multiple screen. That's something the third. And slowly, by fourth generation, people have come and they started using models. If you are in audit, whether in internal or external, or you are supporting clients with that, don't you think you can actually add lot of models because you have huge amount of data? Last 10 times, what are the controls which are working? You just Google it out. There are sites which will give you like automated models ready-made out there. And the last one, which is right now in vogue and which is being adopted all across the world, is mix of autonomous and Gen AI. I'll actually explain you what is this autonomous and AI. It is not automation. Automation is different, autonomous is different. It works itself. It has like, you would have heard this term called agentic AI and other kind of term. Autonomous is very different. If these are the 5 generation, you need to think of at what level we are. It will be tough to go 1 generation up also. It's not going to be easy. But are we ready for that, or are we stuck into the end of the thing? And this is the part I was telling you, autonomous, traditional AI and generative AI. If you see the use cases, reconciliation to anomaly detection or writing any task. I always say this thing, and a lot of people ask me, hey, we have taken the subscription of ChatGPT Enterprise, now what? Great, ChatGPT Enterprise, great. But the problem is, I'll just show you one slide, I'm just jumping it up, I'll come back to this one. How many of you know that Gen AI, it cannot do many of the things? I just wanted to bring it, this slide, to explain it to you that if you see on planning, no, it cannot work it up. Prediction and forecasting, generative AI doesn't work. Decision intelligence, it doesn't work. Segmentation, classification, it doesn't work. It works very good in 3 areas. Content generation, if you're making your reports and other thing. Conversational user interface, you want to make a chatbot for your organization to, ask question, to ask anything to them. Or search and mining, where knowledge discovery happen. Now the question arises, don't you think we are trying to make generative AI aloe vera? Have you seen aloe vera can be used for everything? People eat also, drink it also, people put it on hair, they put it on face. It's like multi-use thing. It cannot be done that way. We need to understand the inherent issues which are there. And that, the faster we understand, the better we get into this. So guys, I'll just go back. This part is something I wanted to talk about, is leveraging part. Can you see this is the audit cycle? I have actually made sure that we use this term, and this is something very important. See, it's like an Iron Man and Jarvis. You have seen it, Iron Man, he has an assistant which does all of the thing, but decision making is done by whom? Iron Man. It means it is a sidekick. Batman has Robin, everyone has a sidekick. We auditors need to have a sidekick. And if you have the sidekick, it makes you a superhero also. Think of that. I'm too much into movies, so I love that. But that analogy gives you a kind of understanding of how it can be used. And this part, this is actually took me some time to make. I want to show you that there are so many different technology and so many different use cases you can think of. Because of paucity of time, I'll not do the demo, but I just wanted to show it. But here, these are the multiple areas you can actually look into that. And this part, I will not show you that, but I'll show you some demos. See, Gen AI is one part which we discuss. It can do something very interesting. Shall I show you something what it can do for you? It can actually solve your problem by just specifying the prompts. That is something which it can help us for doing. It does it, great, it does it. I'll show you a use case of that. Then there is something called as machine learning, which does the model buildings and understanding of all the data and giving you that insight. And the third one is the traditional way of SQL, ACL, IDEA, everything which were there, where I specify a logic, I try to get it up and do take it up. Now, for each of them, I wanted to give you an example. This is the one example I wanted to give you. Try using this prompt next time you do your audits. If you use these prompts, you will understand that this prompt has been designed in a way to ensure it up, you take the capabilities of Gen AI to the max possible perspective. If you are using in planning, execution, reporting, either of that, you can actually use these prompts. But this is only one part of the thing. Can you use case like this? I was telling you we have a kind of a biggest challenge. We are not having enough use cases. Okay, great. Everyone says let's try to use AI, but where do we use it up? Have you thought of if you can have predictive audit prioritization, which is like you are literally doing a risk-based audit, literally, because usually we don't do a risk-based audit. We do a kind of gut feeling audit. But prioritization, heat maps, all of that thing you can do it. On execution, this is something very interesting I would like to share with you. How many of you heard about the recent change which happened after Mr. Trump came? PCAOB came out with a very interesting exposure draft where they ask all auditors, that all listed company auditors, why are you doing sampling? You should be doing 100% of the population. This exposure draft has shaken up the whole industry in US. You should actually read it up. It's actually just one exposure draft. It's still an exposure draft. No, it's not mandated or anything. But now people have started asking question, what will happen if you have to literally boil the ocean? But it's possible. Think of using those kind of, understanding processes which are there. Your reporting. I would say management is more interesting in storytelling than just telling this is my risk. I used to work at Goldman Sachs. Whenever we used to make our reports, the first question we used to ask ourselves, so what? If this is a risk, so what? Because this is the question which will come from the management also. So what? Okay? Tell us why. What is the kind of thing which can go wrong? How it can actually impact me? Why it is going to be a multi-billion-dollar, exposure for us? That's something is the thing. And the last, knowledge-based builder. I would say if I'm doing an audit this time, don't you think next time when it is getting repeated, I should actually have some insight to understand data? These are the things which are already happening. What I'm talking about is already happening. What about this one? You are not seeing this coming. People are analyzing calendar metadata, the tone in the email, and help desk ticket to predict who is getting burnout. People are using AI vision to match attendance in factories. People are now planning to use LLM to read all the clause by clause contract with their vendors, because maybe multiple vendors to manage their third party risk management. And the fourth one is very interesting because I just got into one of the case for one of the large agro company. They want to make sure that their agents are making calls and deciding on the rates is the same amount is coming in SAP or not. Think of this. People are going to that level. No more risk control metrics and other things. They are saying, okay, what's the value add? We can bring it up that. Because for risk control metrics and all things, you can actually automate, make dashboards, keep it up there. It's all ready. This part is changing. There are much more of that. But what I want to tell you is, as someone who are finance and audit leaders, we used to be someone who were data translator. checklist mindset, Excel jockeys. We love Excel. Have you noticed? Some people can even dream about Excel. Report writer and surprise checker. I would say it's time we move to someone who can challenge this model is right or wrong, control architect, algorithm whisperers, narrative synthesizers, and future scenario simulator, which is like what if. What this happened, what is going to be the impact of geopolitical risk out there. I'll actually leave you with one last point here. Today, if you get a chance, go and check out one word and give me as much of information as you can on a system built by BlackRock called Aladdin. Anyone has heard about this system? Okay, not anyone? So this is a homework for you then. So this is something which I would like you to do. Get me as much as information as you can. You will hardly get any information on this system. And this is one system which is actually being talked so much about globally, because that is the system which actually runs simulations for all the investment decisions of BlackRock, one of the largest PE fund, you can say that. Why I told about this, there is a reason for that. Organizations are changing. Organizations are now no more the same thing. We need to understand as auditor, as finance professional, our role is undergoing a change. How ready we are for that. See, it's not that computers are learning about internal audit. It's like audit function is becoming more like computers. We are doing the same thing, rotated again and again. We need to take a step back, see the big picture, and take it up forward. So friends, that's all from my side today. Any questions? We have 1 minute, so we can take 1 or 2 questions if you have, or I will be here during the lunch. Yeah, thank you.
Any questions, member?
No, it's on lunchtime now.
Okay, so thank you so much, CA Anand Bhai, and for sharing your deep expertise and global experience with entire ICAI Dubai chapter. Can we have a huge round of applause for CA Anand?
Thank you.
And with that, yes, Jay Bhai is already here. Vijay Bhai is already here, and I would request Dikshit, please come, and entire committee, please come on the stage for a group photograph.
Dear friends, as we come closer to the closing of this session, I would like to thank on behalf of ICAI Dubai chapter. It's both an honor and a privilege to deliver this vote of thanks in today's provoking session of Embrace Technology and Remain Relevant. Let's begin by thanking our stellar speakers who made technology and transformation not just relevant, but inspiring and actionable. So we thank our council member, CA Dayanivas Sharma ji, for sharing a deep insights on business information, AI adoption and governance. Thank Manjunath ji. Your pragmatic approach of AI-led digital transformation showed us how technology can be effectively implemented to drive real business values. CA Dr. Durgesh Pandey, your expertise in forensic accounting and AI applications added a critical perspective on risk, compliance, and investigation in today's digital era. SEBI, sir, your session on digital documentation management, compliance-driven digitization and operational excellence highlighted the real-world impact of embracing technology across industries. Sangamesh ji, thank you for your insights on intelligent automation, e-invoicing, and transformation of B2B transactions. And finally, Anand ji, your perspective on predictive analytics, automation risks management, and AI finance and audit were inspiring, actionable on all of us. Now, time to thank our real supporters, our sponsors. A heartfelt thank you to all of you. Our title sponsor, BMW Developers, principal partners, IFCO, Tally, Lulu, Motilal Oswal, Spectrum, and SBC, Maritime, Host Books, AGMC, Global Indian Banking Partners, Standard Chartered Bank, Equity Research Partners, Markets Mozo, Insurance Partners, Policy Bazaar, Platinum Sponsors, CL Emirates, UHY James, HSBC, Auditor Desk, Cube Innovations, Reliance Surveyors, Downick and Partners, Young Global, Stockify, and EVOS Constantin. Travel Partners, Uranus Travels, Fitness Partners, Peace Yoga, Banking Partners, Bank of Baroda, Valuation Partners, Windmill, Institutional Partners, DPS, Media Partners, Gulf News, GTV, Pan Asian Media, Trading Finance Partners, 360 TF, and special thank you, our own Money for capturing the beautiful memories. Lastly, a huge thank you to organizing team of ICA Dubai chapter. Your meticulous planning, coordination, and banking backstage magic made this event memorable. And finally, thank you to all of our members, guests, and attendees. Your presence, participation, and enthusiasm are what makes these events meaningful and engaging. Let's carry today's insights forward and continue building a smarter, tech-enabled, and future-ready professional community, one session at a time. Thank you once again. You are my real winners, staying back by winning your hunger for the lunch. Thank you once again. Take care and good day.